Hog. Okay, I thought this fucking oh, fuck chat. I don't, whatever. Chat's gonna fill the bots anyway.
All right, Brokey. The third rung of Dragon and totally awesome, like how Sharks does, except now Shining Eyes, and we know when our still has its problem. May make me about inch outdated for current Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's still a pretty fortunate few ancient gear. Dark World, bro, let's just ignore that players are starting to play DD Crow, Drolan Lockbird, and Bestials in regular Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Let's look at Dark World. Your friends will unfriend you. Local shop may hate you. You probably get banned. But even more importantly, odds of you winning games consistently? Infinite ban on cash clip. It's not that I don't think that a Dark World deck could top. It's not that I don't think that Dark World is powerful. What I'm looking out for you right now is longevity. To consistently do amazing things with Dark Worlds, either you are a god or you're waking up from your dream. And I don't see no three-headed Cerberus that I want to ride, and the world is not ending, so clearly you are not a god. Platinum Link may be the second.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mad Games GX Light Spell.
A single whitewood card? Ugh. Bro, Dark Ruler no more. And Dark Ruler no more. And Droplet? Okay. Cook. Bro, this is a 60 card list. He's got fucking Avarice in here too. Or there's Avarice is this. Oopsies. Oh yeah, dude, it must be. 2 draw cards. Board. Whitewood. What does this do? You can send one spell trap out of your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon one light spellcaster tuner from your deck. Oh. The spell trap card send your graveyard to activate a monster effect while this card is in your graveyard, except you can special summon this card. You can only use the effect. Yeah, okay. So it lets you fusion into Granganol, or even it's light. Yeah, Granganol and Albion. And it lets you summon Cartesia and Quem. So yeah.
Caster tuner from your deck. The card sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect while this card enters your graveyard, except during this damage step, you can special summon this card. You can only use each once per turn.
Okay. Hello? I gave myself this new helmet, but we'll see. The only problem is I don't like the downsides to it because it doesn't actually benefit me that much because I'm not a dex build. I'm a faith build. But at the same time, I don't know what other helmet. I want to use the armor that I have. I think this is cool. I like it, but I also feel like I want to put like a helmet on, like something like something like that. I don't actually like that one. Yeah, honestly, even something like that. But any of the helmets that like let you put the hood up a bit, so like even like this is nice. Then actually different legs too. Something more fully armored. Yeah, so maybe something like that. Or Oath Keepers. Oath Keepers is nice. Part of new stuff. Like maybe I can do like this and this. Not this. Oh, maybe that. Probably this. Like that looks pretty sick. Ain't capping on a stack. The only issue is that I feel like it doesn't really fit. Like stuff like this fits because you could put the hood over the hood, like the you know. Arguably, you can make an argument that the hood can go over. I mean, this is all just dress up shit, but I feel like I'd like this armor so much better if it was closed. I don't even know what it would look like closed. I think there's like a little mask or anything. Fortunately, that looks like dog shit. I still like how big the helmet is. It's like cool. But in like a, well, actually, you know, the more I look at it, the better I like. I might go get that one armor set. I like this one because it sits low, but I hate the thing on top. I honestly, unironically hate it so much. This one's nice, but I don't like how the helmet sits. It just like, it looks, it literally, I think it is literally broken. Broken helmet. This thing I thought was cool. It actually sucks. But this one's pretty much one of the only cool ones right now. There's also that, which looks like that looks okay, but you know, that looks okay. That looks. Arguably, this looks okay, but I don't really. That looks like dog. There we go. Perfect. We found perfection. Right now, this. What's that? Death. Really a death knight? Am I calling it Oath Keeper when it's been Oath Seeker this whole time? It's me. Oh, it's the Black Knight armor. Across the bridge in the gravesite plain, you'll find the Black Knight field hidden among and to kill them. Oh, no. I mean, it could be the helmet. What's the Black Knight helmet look like? Apparently. Also. Right here. This is the guy on the bridge there. Armor, apparently. Other armor set high. Close. Highest screen. Night armor. Oh, it's literally called the Night Armor. In the Boney Jail dungeon, south of Boney Village. Progress through the dungeon until you ride a pot or a chain down to a stone bridge. So it's in the jail. But we'll first just farm this Black Knight here a bit. Where the fuck is he supposed to be? Am I literally tweaking? My widow be tweaking? I feel like I'm literally tweaking. I don't need to go to the Boney Gale. Night. Playing. Shadow my lush. Chains have other. Across the bridge, in a gravesite plain, you'll find a Black Knight with it. So he's literally just inside these. Oh, what? Hello? I feel like the perfume stuff is secretly cool, but I also don't give a fuck. 'Cause what are the what do I think it does? Hold on. A fire spark, frenzied flame. This frenzied flame one. Yeah, like It's the same. Perfume battle. Like you just have to get so close. So incredibly close. Something that really doesn't matter. Oh, whoa. Or I can lightning spear, lightning spear, lightning spear, lightning spear. Okay, what the fuck? Does this thing lie to me? There's supposed to be a black knight here. Is it just amongst any of them? He says he's right here. Brother, what the fuck is this guy on about? There's no black knight here. Does he just mean here, like here in general? Like this whole fucking area? I mean, once I find him, it'll be easy to find him again, but... Oh, yeah. Oh, smithing stuff. Okay, so this one. This one. I don't really give a fuck about my throwing speed. Fuck. I want to be lucky. Armor. Oh, wait. Actually, I don't need to know what the armor looks like. I can just look at this black knight and be like, this armor looks like it. Shit. I don't know if I like the helmet. That's the only thing I don't know. We'll know when I kill him. Doesn't look terrible. It kind of depend on. Okay, I'm getting fucking Polaris smithing stones from a fuck. Smithing stone farm. And if he drops his shield, it's all gonna depend on if the hood, on the back of the hood, fluffs up like this. That's literally all it comes down to. Nothing? Good. He's gooning. I will say, for farming, I wish this game had a... what was it called in Dark Souls 3? Whatever that sword item was. I know you could use like Wayward Bones or whatever to do that, but there was another item that was you'd permanently be able to use it over and over again. You'd still lose your souls, but... Or would you? I don't know if you would actually lose your souls. Anyways, it was an item that let you permanently do it over and over again. And for farming, it was so fucking... Oh, you must not have been able to lose your souls if you permanently could have done it right. I feel like I'm tweaking. Yeah, I don't think you would have lost your souls. But it's like you would do a run and then you'd use it in return and then do it again. There's no way you... And I wish this game kind of had that, because then I would just do this run and then use the item and then run back, but... I also get it, because theoretically I should be able to kill these two, and then press the open the map button and TP back. I think is literally what I can do. Meanwhile, in Dark Souls games, you can't actually TP from a world map. You can only use the Wayward Bones to TP somewhere. Like here, yeah, like I could just do this and this. But then I have to run through the loading screen. The loading screens in this game are a wee bit longer. It's not like terrible, but the TP's probably not. Damn, he took so much fucking damage. Oh my god. Brother, can you drop your armor set? Hello? Oh. I've been here forever. Well, I'll take the smithing stones, I guess. The only thing I don't like right now is that the helmet doesn't match the vibes. But the helmet, this helmet, just don't like that. Takes down the hood. But puffy, the puffy hood. Although this looks nice. No, I don't know that I like the tree on top. But this passes the vibe check. I think I'm just gonna go with this. I'm gonna try again to get the knight's armor set here, but the more I kill him, the more I don't think I care. Oh, double kill. Nothing, you fucking wanker. Absolute fucking wanker. God damn, the fucking scenery in this fucking DLC is insane. Like, what? 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 Oh, and look, you can't even see the mountain over there, but over there is a big mountain. Fog is rolling. The fuck? Oh, he's gonna give me extra runes. Am I right? Fucking hell. Fucking hell. You give me that fucking armor set, you bastard. Arguably, I should upgrade some other seals, and then I would flip to them when I'm using other spells, and then I would do insane damage. But yes. Oh. Oh. It only drops one at a time. Fuck. Okay, I'll try a couple more times for just the helmet. And then odds are I just give up. Hmm. I wonder if I can find the Piers Morgan debate with Destiny. No. React to that. Okay, one more time. One more try. One more try. One more try. Let me give me up. Because I'm not even sure I'm gonna like the other armor set that I'm gonna have to go searching for. I give up. Bony Gale. Oh. No. You know, I kind of figured that would happen, but I didn't want to believe it at the same time, you know? Yeah, I think I'm at the right spot. I just have to not die. I go here. Drop down. get on it. And then it should go a lot higher now. Cool. I mean, in a sense it did. Okay. Is this just the one that like teaches me the mechanic? Cool, okay. Question is it easier or faster to go back up or just oh, I can't go back up because of the drop. I keep going through this stinking place. Oh, I didn't actually. I could have just went back over down the elevators. I think I wouldn't have died from the fall. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't even remember what fucking boss was in here. Not gonna lie to you. I remember that the pots are really fucked up. That's all I know. So now that helmet, how does that look? How do I feel a sense of? Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, you know what? Arguably pretty sick. Because now I look like fucking what the fuck? I look like Sauron? I look like Sauron? What does the armor look like? Not looking great. Best to stay covered up. Cool. Cool. And then actually too, actually I can make this fit a little bit better. Wait. No, you go your shield. By using this shield. Ooh, but it clips. Theoretically I could also use no shield, but I really want to put that spear. Oh yeah, there you go. That's perfect. When I say that, it is kind of perfect in a sense. Boost Miquella's incantations. What are Miquella's incantations? I don't want to look it up, do I? I don't want to look it up. Yeah, if I upgrade these things, it would like kind of cool. Guy. Smash people with head, bro. How does bro have no ammo? Oh. I don't get it. Do I need to two-hand it? Yes. Interesting. Oh, actually, wait a second. Is this Dex? Uh-oh. This might be insane. Wait a second. Wait a second. That's okay, but doing this dry leaf arts is actually it actually looks insane. Scale. Oh, I can change it. Oh. Wait, what? I can make it faith. I can either make it scale off of. Maybe I get fire. Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh wait! Wait! Right now it's what is that right now? What does that mean? Dry leaf hand. I don't know what. I already got one. And then the max stats are. So right now it's just standard. This thing is actually insane. I actually like the combo. Yes, I'm getting rid of a shield. Do I ever use the shield? No, it's just kind of there for. Honestly, it was there for looks because I mostly just stun fucking everyone. But if anyone wants to be close and personal, I can just punch the shit out of them. But I don't know if I should make it holy or not. I don't know if that shit actually scales with holy or if it just means scaling based on your ability. No, I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure it does scale with. But I just don't know if it's worth it to make it. Oh. Oh wait, fortification. So here's the issue. I don't know that I have on blast. Spark. So I could do what is usable on hand-to-hand weapons. If I duplicate that and then I go Ash of War and I go this one, go this one, change it to either lightning or holy. Now, do I want it to be holy? This is where things get weird. I can make it a couple things. I can make it. Oh, no, I can't make it fire apparently. Make it magic, or lightning, or sacred, or blood, or occult. Old blood. Sacred, holy damage, or lightning damage to pair with my other stuff. But then that stuff already does lightning damage, so maybe I want to spread damage into other things. How much does sacred really? This doesn't seem good. Get the red hot whetstone and infuse it with fire art instead. Scaling is the same, but for some reason holy as a damage type is underwhelming in the game. I wish the royal. Oh, maybe this changed because 7 days ago there was. I just don't know. I just don't know if I should instead just scale with dex. Like if I go here and I go keen, and I just scale with dex, my dex is pretty insanely high. My dex is 60, which is like a low soft cap for it. And I can arguably make it higher. I'm only keeping it at that. Why am I even keeping it at that? Why is my intelligence at 27? What was the reason for that? I don't know that there was a reason. Just lets me use other weapons if I want. Oh no, wait. Oh no. if I make it scale purely with dex, leave it there. This stuff is gonna go all the way up and be thing and thing. Okay. Ash of War. Quality. Its base damage. Scale better with dex. Oh, actually, it lose damage because of that. I feel like I want to kind of become Lightning Man. Like, it'd be cool. But I just don't want my damage to be split that hard. That makes sense? And also, this makes it do less damage. Because of the scaling on physical. People seem to be going with fire. For some reason, I can't go with fire. How do I... I just don't have the thing. Find it. Locate a doorway guarded by an iron virgin. The red hot wet blade is on a corpse inside. Once you have it. Okay, I'm gonna go to Red Man Castle. Apparently, fire is the goat. Fire is the goat. Which I think I agree with. Aimers outside the plaza. I think I just turn around. Yeah, I'm not using my offhand anyways, so if I can do, and I don't, and it's a standard weapon, I think is what the term would be for it, so I don't need to use somber stones on it, which is also nice. Now, it might be a little bit cringe if I run out of stones somewhere. Good. Now, what the fuck is an Iron Virgin? Like, this is insane. Oh, and the knockdown. Like, that's just super cool. The fire affinity scales with strength, and the flame art affinity scales with faith. Okay. Right here. Oh, Dex apparently scales with lightning. Go out the door and there's these three. Turn right, you're faced with another one. Yep. Up here. That's it. I'm a stupid fuck. Oh. Yeah, okay. Alright, I found it. I'm not even sure I'm going to fucking use it, but I found it. Okay. So, now what I don't understand is Iron Leaf. Iron Leaf art. Don't understand. Lightning. Oh, lightning does scale with Dex. What? That's fucking crazy. Oh, but it doesn't. Oh, but it doesn't do as much. That's actually insane. Huh. So lightning straight up just scales with Dex, which is really interesting.
Well, I took you no matter it. Lay out your own.
Yeah, so that one goes with Dex, fire, but flame art. And there's lightning, which scales with Dex. Sacred. Oh yeah, I don't think. I think I went fire. It also does more damage base, anyways. Go with that, and then I go strengthen armor. Hopefully, I have enough to do this. Three more. 4. So where do I find the level 4 ones, you bonehead? Oh. think I can just go straight to the source. Wasn't sure how far I made it up. Some of the tunnels I can go get the bells. I just can't go. There's a to get the 7 one. I have to go up into the north, and I don't care. Oh, it's items I don't need. I'll pick them up anyways. Beat the shit out of them. Cause yeah, I've got my Swift. My Swift fucker skills with Dex. Yeah. There's an item I care about. Best. At least touch. At least get to touch grass. These blood sign here. Well, too far. By whittle, I mean a lot. Okay. I have a no. Didn't jump off. Over fast, slowing me down. Literally slowing me down. Got it. You know what's easy that was? Instead of me running around trying to find all these stupid fucking things, I can just buy them. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know how close I am to light. Oh, I am light load. Oh, base shield off by ballin'. Literally ballin'. We ballin'. We out here ballin'. Where do we? Oh, actually, I want to look that up. Does he have his debate with Destiny? Not his debate. Yeah, there it is.
There was a. We don't know what's happened here. No one can yet give a legitimate explanation.
But you're clearly implying that it is odd. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your lunatic conspiracy theory about how odd.
I don't have any.
If you say to me,
I've been told by
listen.
I've been told by many experts in the last 36 hours.
There's an entire cultural machine that has lied. There is an entire
we just saw it in real time. That's it.
What?
That's why conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy.
You sound almost gleeful, Destin, and I'm sorry. That makes you, frankly, despicable.
I'm not going to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness or show sympathy to conservatives.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't do that. You see, so why the hell, frankly,
not.
Destiny,
Absolutely not.
Why the hell should we listen to a word you have to say? Former President Trump is the king of the political comeback, but even by his own lofty standards, the past 4 days have been utterly sensational. After coming within a hair's breadth of assassination, last night he made a stunning return to the spotlight of the RNC. And for once, the gravity of the occasion was not lost on him.
J. Trump.
We are grateful for you to be our nominee for the 47th President of the United States of America.
Well, Trump hasn't made an entrance quite like that since he descended the golden escalator in 2015 to announce his first run for president. Bandaged and emotional, he walked into the arena like a UFC star and got the reception to match. Well, the many people who've criticised security failings at his rally on Saturday were quick to point out that his detail this time round seemed to be made up entirely of strapping men. But the focus of the night was undoubtedly Trump
There's a woman
himself,
right at the front.
Now looks like he's seriously preparing for a return to running the country. President Biden, meanwhile, fumbled questions about his own incendiary rhetoric in the lead-up to Saturday's shooting.
You called your opponent an existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that
I didn't say
word.
crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there's very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
Yeah, I need to go to the.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing.
What a pathetic excuse from, frankly, an increasingly pathetic president. Let's be crystal clear. Nobody thought Biden was talking about archery when he used the word bullseye, and he knows it. The presidential move would have been to say that everyone, on all sides, needs to dial down their incendiary rhetoric. But this president hasn't looked presidential for a long time now. One positive move Biden's made in the fallout from the tragedy on Saturday is to finally order the Secret Service to protect R.F. Kennedy Jr. The last thing America needs right now is yet more political violence, especially involving a Kennedy. Well, in a moment, we'll meet tonight's panel to debate all this, but joining me now is the former counter-sniper in the State Department and the current Florida Republican Congressman Corey Mills. Corey Mills, thank you very much indeed for joining Uncensored. First of all, I can't think of anyone better equipped in the political world than you to comment on what appears to have been a massive failing by the Secret Service on Saturday in their duty to protect President Trump. What did you make of it?
Well, I just wanted to say I really loved your monologue just now that talked about the idea of dialing down political rhetoric on both sides, as well as the dangers of utilizing words like in the bullseye or, you know, regardless of what he says he went to indicate. It's obviously what he indicated was that he wants to put him in the crosshairs. But, you know, I just want to go ahead and say that, you know, this, in my opinion, is such a massive failure. It's such a big negligence on behalf of the advance teams to say that a target, which is 160 yards away, perfectly adjacent to the stage, was outside the perimeter. The perimeter is formed and it's discerned by the counter sniper teams, by the advance teams, and by the security details. I can tell you, as someone who has conducted thousands of advances, both on the Afghan and Iraq side, as well as for back home, has done multiple counter sniper team deployments, looking at overwatch positions, looking at how we react and mitigate threats, that this in its entirety, and I'm not a conspiracist, Pierce. I'm not one who tries to find my way to a, you know, inside job type of setup, but I am also a military guy who believes in the what-if scenarios of all things. And I think the American people deserve a true investigation, not by the FBI, but by Congress, to look and identify every single area, from local force consolidation, from looking at the cooperations that were on the ground, from resource allocations by the director of the Secret Service. And I think that people deserve to feel confident that this wasn't anything but massive malice.
Death threats and other threats.
Sit within.
One is Hugo. We've seen it.
Thank you, Pierce. Honored.
Well, joining me now is commentator and streamer Destiny, host of the Dave Rubin Show, Dave Rubin, co-founder of the Young Turks, Czech Yuga, and the Outkick host, Charlie Arnold. Well, welcome to all of you. Czech Yuga, we've spoken a lot about this presidential race over the last year. Where are we now with this? Is it right to assume that two things have happened as a result of this attempted assassination? One is that Donald Trump has got exponentially more popular because people feel a real empathy with him for what happened. And secondly, that Joe Biden is more likely than not now to remain the Democrat nominee.
Yeah. So there's no reason to unilaterally surrender to Donald Trump now, but that's what it looks like the Democrats are doing. So I hope that they pick up the campaign to oust Biden again, because he's clearly not going to win. All the interviews are disasters. I don't want to surrender to Trump, but apparently Democratic officials are considering it, which would be just keeping Biden in the race. That is a form of surrender, because they don't want to waste any of their so-called talent. Because they're so despondent about the race. I think that's pathetic. They should fight. And if they have a new ticket, they still have a perfectly good chance of beating Donald Trump. Now, I do want to say, though, there's a second topic here. Your interview with Corey Mills, Representative Mills there, I think it was dangerous and wrong. So you guys said, oh, well, you know, this shouldn't be a partisan thing and we should turn down the rhetoric. And then you implied that maybe the Secret Service or the Biden administration allowed the shooting to happen.
Well, no,
that's
nobody.
Nuts.
No,
That's not turning.
Nobody.
No,
nobody
you
implied
definitely
that.
did.
And
You definitely did, Pierce.
Well, I certainly did.
You kept talking about, well, look, I'm not saying conspiracy theory, but hey, it's so easy to find. And why didn't they find it? You didn't just say negligence.
Hang on, I didn't.
And forget about you, Corey Mills.
Right, okay.
He didn't say,
Just to be
hey,
clear,
look, hey.
Okay.
He said maybe it's not just malpractice. Maybe it's not just negligence.
I didn't.
What does
I
that
didn't
mean?
say that.
Is a lunatic suggesting?
Am I allowed to respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I didn't say anything that you just said. Secondly, he did raise the spectre that there's something very odd about all this. And by the way, there is. I'm not a conspiracy theorist either. But the idea that the President Trump, who was recently the President of the United States and is very likely to be again, was shot from 150 meters by a kid with an AR-15 who was seen by spectators nearly a minute before he unloaded 8 bullets in the direction of Donald Trump, is very, very strange. And if you don't think it is, then I think you're being a little bit disingenuous. Now, what is the nature?
So
what is the nature of that strangeness? We don't know what's happened here, right? But no one can yet give a legitimate explanation as to why this could possibly have happened.
Piers, if you say it's negligence, I'm with you. If you say it's malpractice, okay, I get it. 160 feet, why is he on the roof, etc. But you're clearly implying that it is odd, as in not negligence, but something that was planned by the government.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
Hey, get out of here, man. What the hell? Jesus Christ, with these lunatic Republicans. Total lunatic Republicans. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your lunatic conspiracy theory about how odd
I don't have any lunatic conspiracy theories. Do you not think it's odd, Cenk Uygur, that this kid could stroll across a roof unmanned and just fire off 8 bullets at President Trump from 150 meters? Do you not find that odd?
So I find it deeply troubling. I think that there should be an investigation to see how they screwed this up. I think the fact that they didn't get there on the roof quicker it speaks poorly of them. On the other hand, can we acknowledge that the Secret Service surrounded the president and would have taken a bullet for him and would have died for him, but all they're getting now is odd conspiracy theories about how maybe... aren't you implying... Hold on, Piers, you tell me. Aren't you implying that they let it happen?
No.
Aren't you implying that? No. Obviously, what does odd mean? What does odd mean?
No,
Go ahead, tell me what odd means.
I'll tell you what odd means. Odd means that the Secret Service's primary function is to preserve the life of whoever is President of the United States, right? And they allowed this roof to be unmanned.
Allow. You use the word allow.
Okay, somebody made a decision not to have that roof patrolled, even though...
You don't even know that.
Hang on. Well, somebody did because it wasn't patrolled.
No, that's also not true.
Well, it is.
So look,
it might have been controlled up until that point.
We don't know the last time they looked at that roof. We don't know if they looked at it and then the guy crawled on after.
Here's what we do know.
Now, you mentioned,
hold
on.
There was nobody on the roof from the Secret Service.
Yeah, but...
Why?
So you're telling me that you know that under Biden, Trump, and all the other presidents, that every roof had a Secret Service person on it in every rally? You don't know that. You don't know that.
Can you ever remember a president or presidential candidate who was a president giving a speech at a public rally where a roof 150 meters from his head is unprotected by Secret Service? Can you name once
ever
that that's happened?
How the hell would you?
It could have happened 100 times.
You don't know anything.
I am told
so
by...
if you say to me, hold on. If you say to me,
I've been told by listen, I've been told by many experts in the last 36 hours.
like that lunatic Republican you just had on, who's an expert.
Actually, no.
Talking about, oh my God, oh yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, he was
I don't
also
think it's just negligence. Then what does that mean?
Okay.
Then you think it was allowed.
Actually,
you
the
think it was
congressman.
planned.
Actually,
who planned it? Who planned it?
Actually, the congressman that I spoke to was on the sniper protection detail for Joe Biden when he was vice president. He probably knows more about it than you do, with great respect. Unless you're about to tell me you are a covert sniper protector, are you?
No, I'm telling you that we don't know anything about when they checked the building. We do know that there was the red-haired guy who talked to the BBC. He told the cops, then the cops showed up. It's not like they didn't show up. And so if you say, hey, we should investigate and find out when was the last time they did the perimeter check? When did they get on that roof? I totally agree. If you say negligence, I totally agree. If you say Trump was brave in that moment, I totally agree. But if you start implying, which you definitely are, and Corey Mills definitely is, that it was planned or that it was so odd that it happened, you're saying it like the Epstein thing was odd. The Epstein thing was actually odd. So the video camera's out. That makes me think, yes, there was something planned. I'm brave enough to say that. Instead, you're implying it. Corey Mills is implying it. So just say it then.
No.
Don't tell. What does odd mean?
Okay, again, I will say to you, I am not saying anything was planned. I'm not saying there was any inside job at the Secret Service to allow this to happen.
I am simply
saying, you're implying that. You get that, right?
Here's what I'm implying.
You're implying that?
Here's what
That's
I'm
what
implying.
The viewer's going to think.
Here's what I'm implying. There was such a catastrophically negligent failure here by the Secret Service. I completely understand why so many people are utterly bemused that this could ever have been allowed to happen. The idea you have a perfect vantage point over Donald Trump from 150 meters at a public rally, given how divisive and polarizing he is, given how vehemently some people hate him, and given the threats of violence he's had on many, many occasions, the idea that that roof remained unmanned by Secret Service is, to me, very bloody odd, Cenk. Yes.
So you're implying that there is a chance that it was planned?
No, I'm not. I'm implying
that's literally what you just said.
Literally what I'm doing is implying that there's something we don't know about what's happened here, and we need some answers.
Then what would it be?
We need some answers I have no idea. I don't know. Now, let me go to some of the other panelists, because we've expended a lot of energy on this. I think, Cenk, you have to go, so I appreciate you. I appreciing you calling me.
Baller Cenk move. Shows up. Fucking.
All right, thank you.
Moggs leaves.
Dave Rubin, this is the problem. If you can't raise questions, serious questions about what's happened here, or suggest that it's odd, without being branded a conspiracy theorist by people like Cenk Uygur, there's a bit of a problem, isn't there? I mean, this it seemed to me not just negligence. There's something very strange about this whole
You're suggesting something more than just negligence.
I have never seen members of the public, nearly a minute before a shooting at a president, raising the alarm and telling people the guy's on the roof. Have you?
Yeah, well, Piers, I haven't been on camera with that guy in about 8 years, but I'm just reminded of the brain-piercing, serious headache you get listening to him. You just laid out very calm and cogent questions as to what happened to the man who is the ex-president and could be future president of the United States. There was either a catastrophic failure, which we're all acknowledging, or something more nefarious. All we can do is ask questions.
Stop!
The red-headed guy with the visor who was interviewed on the BBC saying that it was probably about 2 minutes, and we'll find out the exact details on that, about 2 minutes before, where he was warning law enforcement that there was someone on the roof. Well, in 2 minutes, Piers, right now, I have an IFB in my ear. I have a microphone right here. That's what all of the agents around there have. And they're all connected to a network of people who are telling them where to look and what to do. I'm not of course, and I'm not an expert in this, but we all know this. Corey Mills happens to be an expert, and your interview was quite good with him. So the idea that 2 minutes went by and nobody looked at the roof, and by the way, the Secret Service director is now saying the reason they didn't have anyone staged on that roof was because there was a slope on the roof,
nonsense.
And they didn't want one of their agents to get hurt. I mean, I've got roofers out on my roof right now. There's a little bit of a slope. They have special shoes. They make it work. The whole thing is insane, but I would say at the political level, this has re-energized not just the Trump base, which was energized, but this new wide swath of disaffected liberals and UFC fighters and NFL players and just good, decent Americans to realize that Donald Trump is not the enemy right now. And this fake call for unity. Yes, I would like unity in a land of unicorns and everything else, but you can't on one day spend 4 years basically calling the guy Hitler and his supporters Nazi. Then he gets shots, and now we should have unity is just nonsense. I'm sorry.
Well, and also for the current president of the United States to be asked, do you have any soul searching about the language you've used, given that days before this shooting, he told donors that it was time to put Trump in the bullseye, and then he tries to dance his way out of this by claiming, I didn't say crosshairs, as if somehow when you talk about human beings, bullseye or crosshairs mean any difference. Obviously, he didn't mean, I think Donald Trump should be shot. But obviously, if you're a deranged young lunatic with an impressionable mind, who the hell knows what that kind of language? We don't know yet, right, about any of the motivation. Apparently, there's a kind of very, very strange, again, a very strange lack of information that they've been able to find out about this young shooter.
Of course, but you also have to understand that there has been an entire media machine, mainstream media machine, and Democrat elite that for years, since before Donald Trump was president, have been calling Hitler and his supporters Nazis. What would someone do if they truly believe that? I'm not directly linking this to Biden's bullseye comment, as irresponsible as it may be, or anyone else's specific comment. But over time in culture, if things get normalized, and yes, this man is going to put us in camps, and you can turn on MSNBC on any given day, and they're talking about how they're all going to be arrested and taken off the air, and what he's going to do to minorities and gays and everything else. All utter, complete nonsense. At some point, people might get a subtle message and then do something crazy. Again, we don't know if that was what happened right now, but we certainly can ask about it.
And I think, to be completely fair, I believe Donald Trump has spouted a lot of very ill-advised and occasionally very dangerous rhetoric. And I want both sides to dial it down, because actually where this leads to is where it's led to. And in Britain, we've had 2 members of parliament in the last 10 years murdered by people for political reasons, basically because, lunatics have wanted to eliminate them. Let me bring in Destiny, because you've been at the centre, as you know, of a massive online response to what you were saying. And I want to go through what you said, and I want to talk to you about this hopefully in a calm manner to try and understand what you were thinking. So on Saturday evening, hours after the shooting, you said, let me clarify, when I say conflicted, what I mean is I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support. So I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it. You couldn't find it in your heart to chastise people for celebrating the near assassination of a man who was president of the United States and maybe again?
Absolutely not. Conservatives have completely bled that well dry. And the idea that they, after engaging in the most divisive and most extreme rhetoric that this country has seen in recent history, that they would come on and beg for sympathy, that it's escalated into some kind of violent confrontation, is absolutely insane. Even the idea right now of saying, well, if you call somebody a Nazi for so long, it's, what do you expect people to do? I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh call Obama a communist every single day he was on the radio. You've got conservatives that talk about how the mRNA vaccines were ways to sneak microchips into us. You've got COVID lockdowns that were done because the government was trying to take all your freedom away. They won't acknowledge anything that happened on January 6th. They say that the election was stolen and that your country is being taken from you. I don't think anybody should be killed. I don't think anybody should go out and kill anybody. But when you engage in this type of rhetoric and when you turn the temperature up over and over and over and over again, there is absolutely no room for you to be shocked or surprised. And there certainly isn't room for you to ask for sympathy.
But Destiny, you say you don't want anybody killed. And yet you say, I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt to chastise people celebrating it. People celebrating the near assassination of Donald Trump. If you can't find it in you to chastise people who do that, aren't you just as despicable as the people you've just spent the last 2 minutes haranguing?
No, because they've led the way. This is the environment that they've created.
So you think behaving like the people you think are despicable is the correct course of action?
Not about behaving like the people who are despicable would be leading that type of rhetoric. It would be denying every single bad thing. How many times as a liberal? How many times as a liberal have you been on a show? Not you in general, but like a liberal been on a show and you've been forced to disavow all of the BLM riots, disavow all of the violence, and blah blah blah. And then you talk to conservatives about it. January 6th, that was a false flag. Yeah. January 6th. Oh, like conservatives disavow January 6th?
Wait. First off, there's an entire cultural machine that has lied. There is an entire
we just saw it in real time. That's it.
What?
That's why conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy for anything that happens as a result of their rhetoric. That's it. It's so easy. Like, it's so simple.
Okay, but I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, but I would say this is the type of person that the internet has broke their brain, thus leaving them with very little empathy for their co-human. I mean, a good, decent father is now dead because of this. He's had his brains blown out because he was defending his wife and daughter. I would hope that you have a little empathy for that.
Let me jump in there because we have a clip of what Destiny has said about that very thing. Let's listen to this.
Fuck it. Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy. Fuck Trump. Fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay? Just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am, 100%.
I mean, I got to say, I just found that repulsive, Destiny.
I wish that there is no room. There is no room for the hand-wringing, and I will not participate in this anymore.
Oh, it's not hand-wringing.
In the hand-wringing. No, it absolutely is.
No, it's just that you are positioning yourself.
So well.
No, but Destiny, let me explain to you.
Where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a conservative.
They can have any conspiracy theory.
I'm not a conservative.
They can have any plot. They can do anything, and then liberals are supposed to sit here and be like, "Oh my God, it's so tragic."
No, Destiny.
Absolutely not.
Let me explain my position because I'm not a conservative. I'm not on either side in your race, right? Here's what I think about what you did. You'd like to fire off, as you've done so far in this debate, about your fury at how disgusting Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing. You are inhuman. You are somebody who seems almost gleeful that a young firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead, that he deserved what was coming to him because he went to a President Trump rally, a man who was president of the United States until recently for 4 years and maybe again. You sound almost gleeful, Destin, and I'm sorry, that makes you, frankly, despicable.
I don't think I'm gleeful about anything. I don't think anybody should die. I don't think anybody deserves to die. But you want to talk about gleeful? Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband when they broke in.
I can answer that.
Mainstream media figures
I can answer that.
I don't care.
I can answer that.
With all due respect, I don't care what your answer is.
Let me answer that.
The reality is that conservatives have been turning the temperature up on the rhetoric. They have been making fun of these types of events for years, and now when something happens to them, now they're looking for sympathy from the liberal side. Absolutely not. It's insane. It's unhinged that you can conduct yourself in such a manner and expect people to feel sorry when things happen.
Why should anybody on the right listen to a word of your hectoring and lecturing about how they should behave? And by the way, for the record, the mockery of Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked by an intruder with a hammer was also despicable, right? I can see despicable behavior on all sides, and I'm happy to call it out when I see it. You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior on the right time and again and is incensed by this disgusting, inhumane behavior. And yet time and again, since the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, you have displayed exactly the same kind of inhumane behavior. Fuck him about a fireman who is killed because he attends a rally of a guy he wants to vote for.
My issue with the MAGA kids is not that they are not empathetic. My issue is that they support a president that led an insurrection against the United States. I'm not here to tone police over their empathy.
80 million people voted for Donald Trump last time around.
That's great. 80 million people voted for a guy that tried to insurrect the government, and it looks like they might try to do it again. I mean, like, I don't know what you want me to say. These are the facts on the ground. The idea that
you don't like attacks on democracy. So presumably you would unreservedly condemn the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, because that's one of the most egregious attacks on American democracy of modern times. Presumably, you will take this opportunity, given you are so determined to protect the integrity of democracy, you would find it absolutely outrageous that someone has tried to assassinate a president, right?
If the other conservatives on this show want to say that it was absolutely outrageous that Donald Trump attempted to coup the government, then I would. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness or show sympathy to conservatives.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't do that. You see, so why the hell, frankly, Destiny,
absolutely not.
Why the hell should we listen to a word you have to say
about... Wait, hold on. Why do you think conservatives haven't been listening to a word that liberals have said about anything for 8 years.
Right,
What do you
but
think is
why
going to
should
change?
they?
You think
But
if
here's my
liberals
point,
come out now
Destiny.
and they go, "Oh my God, this was so horrible,"
But
you
here's
think
my
they're going to go,
point.
"Wow, that is true." Maybe
Wait a
that
second.
should also like
Charlie,
turn the rhetoric down a little
Charlie,
bit.
I'll bring you in at the end of this. I promise you, and you'll get a good chance to respond. But here's my problem, Destiny, with your whole position on this, right? Is that you don't actually have anything inside you that you want the other side to have. You don't have any of the empathy. You don't have any sympathy. You don't care that someone tried to assassinate
I'm not
Donald Trump.
asking for
You don't
empathy
care
and
that a young
sympathy. You don't-
fireman
you
with a
don't need any
family
of that.
was
I'm not
killed in the
asking for that.
process. You don't
Just don't
actually.
support an
You are not
insurrectionist.
the person you want these other people to be, and all you do is play whataboutery with every question I give you. And I'm just startled.
It's
that
not
some-
what about it. We're talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about the temperature of this country. But here's a question for the two panelists. What percentage of this event happening was due to Donald Trump's rhetoric? What do they think the answer to that question is?
What percentage could it be that the other side, as we've just heard from Dave Rubin, has spent 8 years calling Donald Trump the new Adolf Hitler, a person who was responsible for the murder of 12 million people, including 6 million Jewish people in a Holocaust? Last time I checked, Donald Trump hasn't murdered 12 million people. So much as you would like him to be the new Hitler, he's not. But again, to an impressionable young deranged mind who has easy access to guns, that can be easily interpreted as an existential threat, said President Biden. Somebody that needs to be put in the bullseye, said Biden.
Okay,
Only last
I'm
week.
curious.
And
Who
guess
do you
what?
think?
Guess what? Somebody then comes forward and tries to kill the existential threat.
Rhetoric? Who is engaged in more divisive rhetoric over the 8 years? If you had to guess, if you had to assign a rough percentage,
Again, you're playing whataboutery. Again, you're deflecting. Just as
it's not whataboutery.
Just as
We
Joe
all
Biden did last night,
temperature.
just as Joe Biden did with Lester Holt on NBC last night, every time he was asked, have you done any soul searching about your own rhetoric, your own ill-advised use of language, he deflected it back to attacks on Trump. And you're doing exactly the same thing with Republicans.
And I will do the exact same thing.
You say
Republicans never have to do this
want
ever.
Biden
You say
to
that they
disavow
are
a
lacking in
bullseye
empathy.
comment when Donald Trump was saying Second Amendment people could maybe do something about Hillary Clinton. Like, no, it's absolutely deranged. The double standard that's being asked here
No
is
one's ever
insane.
asked
And you
Trump
heard both of them say it earlier.
take
How much did Donald Trump's rhetoric contribute to the current environment? Oh, not much at all. Like, no, yeah, I'm not going to say anything to these people. Of course not.
You see, Destiny,
seem oddly unversed in any of the current events that have happened over the last couple of years. First off, politics is downstream from culture, right? And what has happened to our culture in the last 8 years? What has happened to our culture is that the mainstream media has lied about everything, always to the detriment of right-leaning people, whether it is the Russia hoax or COVID or Brett Kavanaugh's a serial rapist or the Covington kids are racist or Jesse Smollett was hoax, was lynched, or whether it was very fine people on both sides. Every single lie always goes against right-leaning people. So they are slightly annoyed and distrustful of people like you and other people in mainstream media who lie about literally everything. So perhaps
literally
their
everything
empathy,
like biolabs and
perhaps
Nazis in Ukraine or like mRNA vaccines that are
there are
causing
Nazis in
20% excess deaths.
Are-
There it is. Yeah, well, the fact that COVID lockdowns were going to go on forever and it was just an authoritarian abuse of power. Or, yeah, of course. Like, come on, dude. Conservatives are masters of misinformation, and it's happening right here.
All right, let me
There's
bring
a
in
refusal
Charlie. He's been waiting very patiently. Charlie, thank you for being so patient. Things have obviously got quite heated quite quickly. Let me give you your chance now to have your say after what you've been hearing from Destiny.
Yeah, well, first of all, Destiny represents to me a certain subsect of the left, I won't call it everybody, who likes to bully others into saying exactly what they want to hear. And if they don't say it, then you all of a sudden are the problem. And they
Wait,
just,
what do you think has been
handle
happening
it
to
exactly
Destiny
like
right
he's
now?
been handling it on the show. It's like a child throwing a temper tantrum. You can't get a word in edgewise. They just kick and scream and yell until you ultimately say, I've had enough. Just say what you want to say and back down.
What?
That's exactly what we
It's
see
just- I don't know,
a lot of
it's just
times
brain
from
damage. I
people
don't know.
on the left. And
Obviously,
it
they just
infuriates me because
don't care
just
about
like we
anything on their
saw
side.
on Saturday with the near assassination of Donald Trump, which that is exactly what it was. It was an assassination attempt, yet we have, Dave, like you mentioned, all of the mainstream media putting out egregious headlines such as from CNN, Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startles former president and crowd, which completely
Breaking news headlines were
mistells what actually
100%
happened.
accurate. Here it is. This is the conservative. This is the game
It is-
right now.
it is not
right in front
accurate.
of us.
Yeah, it's breaking news headline!
Fox News ran that
Listen,
same
listen.
type of
First
headline,
of all,
right?
we are
You
we
do
are
acknowledge
allowed
Fox ran the same
we
type
are
of headline,
allowed
right?
in this country to ask questions. There was a lot of things that were very off on Saturday,
And other
from
people
the
are
way
allowed
that
to
the
call you
Secret
an idiot
Service
for it.
handled.
So, I love this country. God bless, I guess. Yeah.
You can see. There you go. He immediately
I know,
resorts
yeah,
to
here
you
we
weren't
go.
allowed
Yes.
to call you
Yeah,
an
here we
idiot.
go.
And that is
Quoting a
exactly the
breaking
childish
news headline as
demeanor
evidence.
that I'm speaking about. On Saturday,
Don't
on
talk
Saturday
over,
there were
don't
a lot
talk
of
over
things
each
that
other.
should...
Let me just ask you this, Destiny. You were asked on that clip we played earlier if you'd have the same attitude if it was your parents who'd been killed at a Trump rally.
Yeah.
And you replied, it's less end-of-life costs for me. Would I lose sleep over it? No. Do you understand how grotesque that sounds?
It sounds grotesque, but the environment that we're in right now is grotesque.
But why do you want
cannot
to sound
engage
grotesque?
in
I don't
behavior.
understand.
You cannot engage in behavior that leads us to this point, that brings us to the precipice, and then say, wait a second.
It's like, I don't know.
Are you taking this a
if it
little
turns
bit
out your
too
parents
far?
are Nazis, just to feel bad for you.
Hang on, Dave. Just to be clear,
because of what conservatives have said.
Just to be
over the
clear,
last 8 years,
Destiny,
here we are.
if it was close members of your family or close friends who had gone to that Donald Trump rally and who'd lost their lives, one did, and two are critically ill,
if I had family members in the bunker, in Hitler's bunker that got blown up,
you would lose no sleep over that.
Attempt.
Is that your position?
Would I be like, oh,
of course I would be sad. It would be tragic, of course. And the closer they are to you, the more sad it would be. The same way that if you had a child that tried to rob a store and the child got killed by the police, that would also be tragic and sad.
So you wouldn't think
but I mean,
you wouldn't
at
think
the end of
fuck
the day,
them because they're your family. Then you'd have a different rule for your own loved ones.
Would I feel more upset if a person very close to me died rather than a person farther away died? Yeah, I think the answer there is yes.
Yeah, but you weren't just not. You weren't just.
anything.
Just to be clear, you weren't just not upset by the death of that firefighter, who'd given great service as a firefighter to his country. You were gleeful, and you said, "Fuck him." Fuck him.
I'm not. It's
Would
not
you
about
say
being gleeful.
fuck them if it was your family and friends?
Because it was a Trump supporter.
I would say that if they go to a rally like this and they support an insurrectionist president and something happens to them, I would feel sad on a personal level because they're my parents. But again, I learned from them more than anyone else. I grew up in Nebraska. You learn that if you mess around and if you do dumb stuff, that there are going to be consequences.
And would you think? All right. And would you be happy to say, you know what? Fuck them. About your own
His
parents.
rhetoric is far more dangerous than I've ever heard anything that Donald Trump said. What he's saying right there.
Yeah.
He is saying you should have no empathy or sympathy for your fellow human.
Hey.
We can all disagree. We can disagree about politics.
No,
of course, we can disagree about how the media
politics.
frames things and
This
everything
is the
else.
illusion.
But
This
he's
is the
basically
delusional
saying
statements that conservatives
show up
make.
to a rally and get killed. And that is absolutely psychotic. I'm sorry. And you know, the other part of
Meanwhile,
this
Donald
that's
Trump's
strange
like, oh,
when
maybe the
people are
First Amendment
calling
people can do
for
something
unity
about
right now
Hillary
is
Clinton.
this
Yeah,
had
that's showing a lot of
happened to
empathy for your
Joe Biden. If Joe
fellow
Biden
man.
had been
Nice.
shot at and had part of his ear blown off, the very people calling for unity right now would be calling for the rest of us to be put in jail. So there's a strange asymmetry there as well.
And I would ask this.
The strange asymmetry was Biden trying to make a phone call to the wife of the killed firefighter and her rejecting the call and Donald Trump not even reaching out, okay? That's the asymmetry. When you talk about it's just politics, this is the cancerous brain rot that conservatives have fooled everybody into thinking. It's not just politics to think that vaccines will kill you, okay? I've got 3 dead family members from COVID. My mom won't get a vaccine, okay? After both of them were in the military. These guys went up and down.
I'm not vaccinated, thank God. Nobody in
Don't
this
worry, we can all
studio is
tell.
vaccinated,
We can all
thank
tell.
God.
My parents went up and down a line when they did basic training for the Air Force. They got 20, 30 vaccines each. My dad has a vaccine injury in his shoulder. And the idea of not getting vaccinated was unconscionable to them until the conservatives spread these messages that are just politics.
Let me ask you this, Destiny. Let me ask you this,
When
Destiny.
science has shown that the vaccine actually was one of the worst things you could have done for yourself. Thank God I didn't get vaccinated. I thank God every single day I didn't get vaccinated.
Let's not get. I don't want to get. I don't want to read. I don't want to get back into COVID. I don't want to get back into COVID, right?
I don't want to get back into COVID.
Hang on, Charlie.
Asymmetry of it all.
Hang on, Charlie. I don't want to get down into COVID again. I want to stick to this story, and I want to ask you, Destiny, about Elon Musk, who is responded to one X user who was calling for him to demonetize you on the X platform. And he said, you're right, this is not appropriate content for advertisers because of the offensive tweets you were aiming at Trump supporters. What is your response to Elon Musk?
The same response as it always has been. Elon Musk is a thinly veiled, I would say, like anti-woke, anti-SJW, basically right-wing supported guy. And if you say things that they don't like, of course they'll demonetize you, they'll cancel you. Conservatives are some of the least principled people in the universe when it comes to freedom of speech. As soon as they have any power to demonetize or spam report somebody's, sponsors or anything like that, of course conservatives will jump onto it. My account also was demonetized, I think in like 12 hours. Thank you very much, Elon Musk. Although I do notice that my docs has been floating around Twitter for 2 days now, and tons of accounts that I've been reporting that haven't been banned yet, but I'm glad we've got our priorities straight there.
Again, here's what I think we're all struck by. Your position seems to be that anyone from Donald Trump to his supporters who represents their thinking, their ideology, their political views, that if they are killed by an assassin at a rally, then they deserve what's coming to them. And in your words, fuck them. I mean, do you not understand that to most decent Americans and to decent people around the world, that is incredibly offensive and makes you look like a two-faced hypocrite, somebody who wants the other side to behave to a certain level of decency, but is himself incapable of displaying it.
The conservatives don't have it in them to have that level of decency.
So why don't you rise to a higher bar? Why don't you yourself show them the promised land, Destiny? Show them the way they should be behaving.
Have been doing it for 8 years. There's nothing to be gained there. So instead, we'll just have a laugh instead. When you're asking for this type of decency, you're saying, like they did for Pelosi's husband, like they did for BLM people, like they did for the endless. He didn't die, but he got the crap beat out of him with a hammer, and they made jokes about his
and
gay
by the way,
lover.
the jokes were disgusting. Why can't you say the same thing about the people making mockery of Trump?
Because no one did up until
the mob.
It's not just because it's not just the jokes. It's the underlying substantive analysis as well. It's the lack of responsibility for January 6th. It's the lack of responsibility for the Gretchen plot. It's the lack of accountability for all the comments made about BLM protesters, George Floyd, for all of these.
But by your yardstick, what the Republicans should do in response is simply say, "Fuck all of them, fuck them all. Who cares?"
Pierce, that's what you're not understanding. Pierce, listen to me. This is what you're not understanding. You keep bringing this up to me, like, well, Destiny, if you act like this, aren't conservatives just going to do? And then you say a thing, but they've done this for 8 years.
Right. So the other side is
to do it.
The other side is horrendous. Therefore, I'm going to be even more horrendous. It's so unprincipled.
The horrendous part about the conservatives isn't just the rhetoric; it's the underlying factual denial of reality. That's the huge issue. That's the big bad part.
Let me bring Charlie. Let me bring Charlie back to respond to that. Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the opposite. I think that, Destiny, you are completely fueled solely off of emotion, whereas I think that, I'll say conservatives, even though I think that it spans past conservatives, when they look at the facts of the summer of BLM, the BLM movement as a whole, January 6th, this assassination attempt, when you look at the facts, things unfold before your eyes, and they reveal themselves to be actually what they are. There's a lot of evidence that has come forth since all of these events in the past have occurred. And they have shown that exactly what conservatives were saying were absolutely correct. Just like the assassination attempt on Saturday, we look at what went wrong. We look at not only was this one rooftop unguarded, but how did the gunman know that the rooftop was unguarded? Why was it that local law enforcement alerted the Secret Service moments before shots were fired?
There it is. There is actually a very good question.
Do you think January 6th, do you think J6 was a false flag?
I think January 6th, there's a lot of discussions to be had. I think there's a lot of facts that came forward. They're definitely.
I will never give sympathy to this side. These guys are destroying the country.
You see, Destiny.
There were agents present. We know for a fact.
Destiny, here's your problem with me.
There were agents present on January 6th. We saw the tourists being
there's agents present because they knew that something might have happened, so they put federal agents in there, not to be part of the fucking thing, but to
several months ago, Vivek Ramaswamy said it's only fair that we're able to have a decent conversation about all of this.
Okay, let me say what
we're not able to have a conversation about anything because of people like you.
Let me just say what I think about January 6th, because I wrote it at the time and I believe it today. I thought it was a shameful attack on the heart of American democracy. It was an attempt to thwart democracy taking place. It should never have happened. Everyone involved in
Congratulations. No one else on this panel believes that.
It was utterly shameful. Donald Trump's rhetoric that day was appalling. All those things are completely true, Destiny. I can happily subscribe to that.
Neither of your other guests.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Neither of these guests agree with that.
But if I'm a Republican, but if I'm a Republican, but here's the thing, Destiny. If I'm a Republican listening to you, I'm thinking, hang on. This guy thinks we're all disgusting. We're reprehensible. We have no empathy. We have no this, no that. And yet he himself is proud of being even more disgusting.
Not absolutely. And then I would say, wow, well, nothing has changed from since before COVID, before the vaccines, before J6, when they thought the election was stolen, when they thought that we were forced into lockdowns for no reason, when they thought that George Soros and the World Economic Forum and the IMF banks and everybody were taking over the country and the Federal Reserve was devaluing our currency. Like, it's all the same. Nothing has changed.
Let me ask you this.
I'm curious. Wait, can you ask
one
these two
last
guys? Do they
question,
agree with
Destiny.
any part? Do they
One
agree
last
with
question
any
for
part of
you.
your characterization of J6?
Destiny, one last question for you. Are you pleased that Donald Trump got shot?
Am I pleased? No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
What is your emotion to the shooting?
My emotion is emotionally what? In terms of his personal health, is absolute indifference.
No, do you condemn the shooter shooting Donald Trump?
No. Not here, not on this program, not in front of these people. Absolutely
You do not condemn a deranged
Not in front of these
shooter
people.
shooting
You are
Donald
truly
Trump.
just a child. This is not.
Actually,
this is
it's
not a
not. No,
competition
you know
here.
what,
We're
Charlie?
just trying to be decent human
You know what,
beings.
Charlie? It's not actually the behaviour of a child. It's the behaviour of somebody who's completely lost his moral compass and any sense of decency.
You're right. A child wouldn't.
And I'm going to go to Dave Rubin. Dave, let me let Dave Rubin respond to what you've just
Can't
said.
even. God, these
I mean,
panels are so
it's
fucking
actually one
annoying.
of the most disgusting things that I've ever heard in my life. My entire staff in my studio right now
Can't
all
even let me
gasped
respond
at
to
that.
this
When I happened to be at Target, the store Target, we were checking out when I saw it on Twitter, and my heart actually sank. And I know that that is the feeling of probably 200 plus, if not 300 plus million Americans, even many of whom would vote against Trump and do not like Trump and all of those other things. The idea that you can't show sympathy or empathy for that is so profoundly sad. I would also add one other thing here, which is that the reason you're so emotive and screaming beyond the Red Bull, and dude, just ease up, man, it's not healthy for your heart, is that you really don't have good arguments. So you're petulant and screaming as opposed to just trying to work things out. We're allowed to ask questions about these things, but I would hope that
Jacking
you
off.
would try, as Piers is pointing out, instead of
asking
always
questions.
reaching for the lowest common denominator, and they're bad, so I'll be worse. I would hope that we could try to be a little bit better than that. And by the way, I think that you're seeing that right now at the Republican National Convention. They're not going crazy over all of this. They're applauding the fact that Trump's there. They're rallying around the new VP choice. And I think you're going to see a wide swath of America that maybe didn't come out for Trump before and they're not traditional conservatives.
I totally agree.
I think you're going to see them support Trump.
I totally agree. And I would say to you, Destiny.
Nothing is more
I would say to
emblematic of the
you,
situation
Destiny.
than the fact that
Destiny.
the VP choice is a guy who's also said that Donald Trump is like Hitler.
Yeah,
I
would
just
say.
think it's the perfect cherry on
he's
top to everything.
apologized for it and said he got it wrong.
Yeah, I would say this to you, Destiny. Lester Holt asked Joe Biden last night, has he had any soul searching? Right? I think after this debate, you may want to just go away quietly and think about some of the answers you've given and think about the double standard of demanding a certain pattern of behavior from others that you do not sign up to.
There are no more standards in American
you may or may
discourse.
not take
There
my
are no more
advice.
standards.
You may or may not take my advice. I'm just saying, on reflection,
Like,
you
what do you-
might
what do you-
conclude
oh, can
that the best
conservatives
way to
reflect about
persuade
January
other
6th, please?
people to behave in a better way is not to behave in an utterly degrading way yourself. That's all.
I think deleting a YouTube channel only takes one click, Destiny.
Right.
Yeah, right after you, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all very much to my panel. I appreciate it.
So fucking incredibly cringe, dude. Like, so. Okay, ow. Okay, ow. Okay. Wow. Holy shit! I just got fucking rolled. Yeah. It's just it's just cringe. I mean, Destiny said that basically everything that needs to be said. That you can say whatever you want as a Republican, and it's just asking questions. You can say the most vile, disgusting shit of all time, like trans people are trying to indoctrinate your kids and groom them, and they're all pedophiles, but you know, it's just you're just asking questions, and these are just valid things that you need to bring up because you know, what if they are grooming and trying to indoctrinate your kids into this woke ideology? It's like what the fuck? And then what? Oh god. And then then there's nothing on January 6th, and then like the questions come back. Oh, do you think it's possible that January 6th was a insurrection? There's a lot of questions that you can ask about we should be at you know, there's a lot of things that happened that were wrong on January 6th. You know, we really, holy Christ, bro, immediately unloaded. Yeah, there's we need there's a lot of things that we could ask about January 6th and then yeah, like it's just I mean, we saw a perfect example of it where where do I want to go here? I don't know. I think I want to go this way. I'm just gonna have to run around this one lady that's about to spawn here. Hello. Oh, gonna go this way, I think. There's a site of grace some. Or I'll just keep going. Pretty sure there's a site of grace somewhere nearby. Yeah, we saw it in perfect detail right there. Jen called it out and Destiny called it out where yeah, you can just say that there's a lot of questions that need to be asked about a thing that there really doesn't need to be any fucking questions asked about it. Yeah, like, oh man, it's really strange what happened on that day where Donald Trump almost got assassinated. It's like, what do you mean by strange? What is that? I don't know. I don't know what that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I could possibly mean by that. It's like, well, do you think it was a complete just lapse and misjudgment by the I can govern my own movement, and thus I shall depart. Farewell. I shall leave Torrent. I wish you luck. You have fought, I have no doubt. You Okay, where do I want to go? I need to go up. I need uppies. How do I open this door again? Fuck, I just want to go. I gotta go. Can I get to the Giants place? Why isn't this door open? I don't remember why this door. Yeah, it was perfectly described there by Jank and then later brought back up by Destiny. Where yeah, you can just ask questions about like these things that don't really need that many questions asked about them. You can just say that they're like a big failure, but instead there's just like a million questions that there's like a million questions that you need to ask about this stuff for no reason. And you won't even concede like simple explanations. You're just like do you like again? I mean, I've already reiterated this, but again, like just saying like, oh, do you think that instead there was just a big, massive lapse in judgment by the Secret Service, and there needs to be an investigation to understand why that lapse of judgment happened. Maybe there's bad leadership, but other than that, it's just it was just a massive failure. And they're like, no, I don't think so. It's like, what? Like what do you think it is then? It's like, I don't know. We got to ask more questions about it. What do you think you're leading on to this with? What do you think your words are going? It's just, I don't know, it's just phenomenal how little they think their words carry. I think I have to go that way. This is another video I can look at in a second. I'm just trying to speed run this. Is this a dead end ahead? Oh, Oh no, am I just back here? Fuck. I just looped. Yeah, I just looped. I just looped. Damn it. I definitely did not know that. I'm almost don't have to go this way. Well, I'm hard looping now. I'm just gonna be back to that. Fuck. How do I get to the... Black blade. But what do I need to do before that? I thought I needed to beat a boss at the top, and then I realized that I can't get into the Erdtree, and I need to burn the Erdtree. Yes, I need to beat Morgott. So how do I get to Morgott? Okay, I think I just go. Okay. I don't actually need to go into that building. It looks like I can go to the left. And I can go up that way onto a branch that leads me. I don't actually need to. I can just go here. And I hang a Richard. Yes. Oh, that's right. But it's a dead end here. I need to get over there, I know that. What does the game want me to get there? Really just kill this guy so he stops fucking bothering. I just forget how the game wants me to get to. I don't think it's this. path and oh no, I need to go I need to somehow get here, which I think might just be up the thing and then I turn left. Is that it? I don't need to go through the doors, just right in front of the door. I hate that I fucking have to do this because I'm a dumb fuck at some point who decided to beat the game, restart the game, and then quit at the fucking very beginning. I had it at some point during the save. I had every single item, had everything. Some dumbass reason I just had to restart. Oh, okay, I do need to open it. Oh, how the fuck do I... Stop fucking with me. I do need to get through the door. How the fuck do I open the door? Do I go up the wing? Do I go... What the fuck do I do here? Get in? Do I get in? How to get to Morgott? Yes, okay. My intuition was right. Climb up the dragon into a window, run across the window. That's what the fucking thing should say. This is where the map should go. It should be from that side of Grace. There should be two paths. And then you choose either one. And then one would be like a different color. It's like if you have the door open, if you don't have the door open. That's the two paths it should show. Instead it loves to post cringe. But it's okay. I'll trigger. I'm the man. Okay, use, no. Oh, there's a lever here I can pull. Helps too. That's the. Also, why isn't it going from this side of Grace? What the fuck? This is literally the side of Grace right above the fucking thing. This stupid fucking map. This is the actual side of Grace you're supposed to go from. Because then, yeah, you go over here. You kind of quickly whip it past this guy. You go up this, around, and then I can go up here, kill whatever the fuck is Godwin, whatever the fuck his stupid name is. He's like, you can't kill the Elden Lord. You're not worthy to become Elden Lord. And you're like, okay, bud. And then you kill him. And you mog the shit out of him. Oh, first I'm gonna fight the fucking essence of Godfrey. How did that do 0 damage to me? Fun. Eat the poo-poo. Okay, then do this. I've got 80-something thousand souls. I think I can probably level up. kill me. Okay, I'm gonna find another video to listen to in the background because I have to deal with this bullshit. I can't actually play the Elden Ring. Huh, I don't have to. I'm just doing this because I'm a weird. Actually, wait. Alien Mouse is the type. Yeah, look at like Dave. Okay. Oh, by the way, Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin. The just please. Oh, this rhetoric is so disgusting. February 26th, 2024. Here's hoping that AOC, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar join Aaron Bushnell in his brave protest. Aaron Bushnell being the guy who set himself on fire. Retweet, like and retweet. This is a strange sequence of events. The guy assaulted Pelosi only after police arrived, blah, 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 and then he hammer time. Ha ha ha. Funny. Funny joke, guys. What? God, Benny Johnson's so fucking retarded. Holy fuck, I hate that guy. I like when science proves a miracle. God angles surrounding Trump. God angled that bullet straight into the brain of that fucking spectator. Praise be. These people all have to be bots. They all have to be bots. Every single fucking one of them. there's just no fucking way a sane person goes, it was divine intervention that Trump didn't get shot in the head. It was divine intervention. It was divine intervention that spectator got fucking his brain absolutely blown the fuck out. Oh. Intervention.
Here's Donald Trump trying out his newest material. This material, of course, focused on Biden and the question of will Biden ultimately be the nominee. It gives him something to talk about. Here he is at Doral, Florida, at a rally.
But even CNN said as I walked off the stage that it was one of the greatest performances they've ever seen. But it was sort of easy, if you want to know the truth. Our victory.
Pause it for 1 second. Nobody said that.
Yeah.
Nobody said that Donald Trump's performance was in any way other than maybe replacement level, then chock full of lies. Yeah. Nobody said that was a great performance by Donald Trump.
Nobody did.
Yeah, it was.
They've ever seen, but it was sort of easy, if you want to know the truth. Our victory was so absolute that Joe's own party now wants him to throw in the towel and surrender the presidency after a single 90-minute performance. They want Crooked Joe out of the race. It's a shame the way they're treating him. But don't feel sorry for him. He's a very bad guy. He weaponized government. Remember that. He's a very bad guy. Don't feel sorry for him. So tonight I'm officially offering Joe the chance to redeem himself in front of the entire world. So Marco and Byron and everybody, here's what we're going to do. You guys can be referees if you like. Let's do another debate this week so that Sleepy Joe Biden can prove to everyone all over the world that he has what it takes to be president. But this time it will be man-to-man, no moderators, no holes barred. Just name the place, anytime, anywhere. And in the debate, Sleepy Joe also declared that he wanted to test his skills and stamina against mine on the golf course. Can you believe this? Did you ever see him swing? He's like this. That's why this evening I am also, and this is in honor of you and everybody, it is 45,000 people. That's a lot of people. I'm also officially challenging Crooked Joe to an 18-hole golf match right here. On Doral's Blue Monster, considered one of the greatest tournament golf courses anywhere in the world.
I can't believe that. I can't believe. I mean, it's if you step back, I imagine, like, view all this from 10,000, 20,000 feet. Of course, it's going to come down to golf.
Of course.
I just can't believe it.
I know. I mean, I'm honestly surprised by Trump's restraint there. He's asked, I'm joking, but like the idea that the way he was talking, it was as if he was trying to cage fight him. He's like, anytime, any place.
He's got a lot of history in wrestling.
Yes.
I mean, literally.
No holds barred.
Professional wrestling. So he's talking in that parlance. It's going to be interesting. Like, on some level, I think he knows that the timing for him to come out, like, the story may be ebbing a little bit as, Biden goes to, is talking at NATO, and the Democrats seem to realize, like, okay, this is not an effective way of doing this. We should be a little bit more circumspect and do this maybe through back channels more than we're doing it. And so he realizes a good opportunity for him to, by challenging Biden, he keeps the story alive. He also makes it look like, you know, if Biden actually responds to the challenge, he makes it look
No, I
like
don't
he's
think so.
leading Biden
We're gonna get to
around.
the floor.
I mean, this is part of the problem. And
It's
Yeah.
closer,
and
but
you know, and I don't want to overstate how much, you know, this has been mishandled, because the reality is everybody saw. There was nobody who had there was
yeah,
no
go straight down.
there was no controversy over the way that Biden handled
There would
himself
be
in that
a secret
debate.
way to go.
And they're either, you know, done for a reason or not. And if you didn't think like the debate's not important to have any, like even a middling performance, why would you do debates?
Well, they knew that it was important. The Biden campaign knew that it was extremely important to. That's why it's the earliest debate that's ever happened between two general election candidates. That's why they set the terms. That's why they insisted on it, and it was an epic disaster. And what's so scary about this is, like, you know, Bhaskar Sankara co-wrote a piece with Dustin Guastella, who I'm not as familiar with, in The Guardian about
Left Reckoning guest.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
About the Republican Party's platform and how they're very, unfortunately, consciously moderating it and moderating Trump to a real degree that I think is benefiting him. It's amazing to say, but Trump is running a much better campaign right now than Biden is. And the problem is that they have a platform and a message, and it's really focused on immigration, and yes, Trump's personal agreement as well, but also immigration, and they're trying to moderate on abortion. Everything I hear about Biden is backwards facing. It's all about what he
We
accomplished.
aren't talking about his accomplishments. Are you kidding me? Look forward. No one cares.
It's an old adage, but you're hiring someone for 4 years, not looking backwards. That's the big problem too. On top of the age thing is that the Democrats are hamstrung by Biden's inability to articulate a plan for the next 4 years. He keeps saying, I'm the
Are
guy.
Republicans doing that? Unironically, right now, the problem is that no one actually gives a fuck about. Nobody actually gives a fuck about policy right now. All anyone gives a fuck right now is who can pwn who. Well, maybe you can bring up some future, because yeah, in the debate, Biden did bring up a lot of old stuff, like, and part of the problem was just that, like, Trump would just, you know, say funny words. But the problem is, I don't think talking about future plans would be any better, because Biden, because the problem is that Biden has to stop. Biden basically has to stop trying to respond to Trump's lies, because he just gets caught doing fact checking for the fucking CNN, like for the broadcasters, and then he wastes like an hour doing that. And then yeah, so he wastes a bunch of time doing that, and then he tries to tell about his old stuff, and then, like, by that time Trump said like 20 million funny little goofy words, and you've kind of like lost you've lost what you kind of need to use there, fortunately. So he just needs to use his quippy lines. He just needs to find some quippy lines to hit Trump with, so that he's a civilly liable rapist, he's a convicted felon, he incited an insurrection on January 6th. He won't even talk about it without immunity, which they gave him. He got the fucking Supreme Court to give him immunity, absolute immunity. Talk about. You have to talk about. Yeah, you have to hit him with quips. Unfortunately, you have to hit him with quips, which Biden can do. He did it a couple times in the debate, but because the issue is just that all that happens is that you You run. If you do a normal debate style where you think you can bring up rhetoric, Trump just says like 20 million funny things, and then you have to say, oh, he's lying about this, he's lying about this, he's lying about this, and then you barely get to say what you want because no one gives a fuck if Trump's lying or not. Until like maybe after. So you have to like mog him, and then anything he lies about, you can then say like, look, he lied about this too as well. I need to get my mimic. I always need to get mimic. Pretty sure I can watch out this guy. Just my mimic take a bit of the control. Oh, no way. He backshot me. He hit me with the backshot. Oh, fuck me. Where the fuck are you going? Hello? There's no way this shit hits me. Bro fell off. Cause yeah, I'm gonna go here, and then I'm not gonna go to farming Azula, but I can farm. Well, I can farm, but I also go into the. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get into here. There's a bunch. There's 8 in here apparently.
All right, I want to talk about they. What do I mean by that? Many of you I know exactly what I'm talking about. They tried to kill Trump. They who? It was a single 20-year-old Republican who tried to kill Trump. This is the new one. And Eric Trump was interviewed yesterday at the RNC on day 1. And he weaves together what is becoming the prevailing narrative on the assassination attempt against Trump being the latest outcropping of the broader plan by, I guess, Democratic elites to get rid of Donald Trump. And he casually uses the word they. And I try to be skeptical of they in general and always say who, they who. When people call me and they talk about how they are doing this or they are doing that, I say, who is the they? In this particular case, surrounding the Trump assassination attempt, being very careful about they is of particular importance. So let's listen to the little story that Eric Trump weaves together, and then we'll talk about they.
They have done everything to try and strip him of his wealth and of his fame. They've tried to break up our family. They've done everything possible to try and get him and kill him. And they literally tried to kill him this week. And despite that, he's undeterred. He's unrelenting. He loves his country. He's the one billionaire who does not need to be doing this. His life would be exponentially better if he wasn't. But he wants to make America great again. And I'm so proud of him. I've never had more respect for a person in my life. And, you know, it's funny. I was there with Don and Tiffany and everybody else. We were in that exact same position in 2016, and we continue to fight on that stage with him every single day.
All right, they're fighting. So he talks about they. They tried, the narrative that Eric Trump and others have been pushing is they tried to silence him by stealing the election. So this is an amalgamation of all of the they. They tried to silence him by stealing the election. They tried to silence him by suing him. They tried to silence him by indicting him. They tried to silence him by convicting him. And now they are trying to silence him by killing him. One 20-year-old Republican tried to kill Trump. It's deplorable. I've denounced it. I'm against all political violence. Unfortunately, someone was killed at the rally. It happened not to have been Trump by chance, but it was an individual in the crowd, another injured. But the narrative of they that they are weaving together is ridiculous, because the they in every case other than the shooting is, of course, the Biden Justice Department, the DNC and their henchmen who tried to steal the election, or who they might argue did steal the election in 2020 from Donald Trump, the weaponized local DAs and prosecutors under the thumb of Biden who decided to indict and decided to prosecute and whatever else the case may be. And into that they go, and they tried to kill him now too, suggesting, as some members of Congress did, that Biden was involved in the assassination attempt, that Democrats were involved, that it was left-wing rhetoric, like, for example, saying Trump is a threat to democracy counts as inciting violence. And I'll tell you something. I've been getting emails, voicemails, and horrible excretions on X or tweets on Twitter where people are saying, David, you've been calling Trump a threat to democracy. So you incited this. You incited this. You've been calling Trump a convicted felon. So you incited this. Trump's literally a convicted felon. Unless and until that's overturned, Trump is a convicted felon. Stating a fact is now considered an incitement to violence, but there's more to the hypocrisy. There's more to the hypocrisy. Because in the context of saying we've got to turn down the volume, and the rhetoric from the left about Trump being a threat to democracy is responsible for the shooting, here is Eric Trump in the same interview yesterday using the exact same rhetoric about Joe Biden.
And yet they're going back to January 6th, less than 48 hours later.
And they don't say Ashley Babbitt's name.
It's really horrible. Biden is a threat to democracy.
Biden is a threat to democracy. On the one hand, they say claiming Trump is a threat to democracy is what got him shot. I don't really know why, because it was a Republican who shot him. Okay, but put that aside for a second. They say when Democrats warn that Trump is a threat to democracy, they are inspiring assassination attempts. And then 48 hours after that assassination attempt, supposedly based on people saying, hey, Trump's a threat to democracy, Eric Trump says, Biden's a threat to democracy. Now, if you confront them, what will they say? They'll, of course, say, well, no, Biden really is a threat to democracy. Trump isn't. That's the difference. But the whole point is we need unity. We need to turn down the temperature. The unity went out the window the second that it was determined that Trump was okay and that we are now moving back to politics as usual. So when they talk about they tried to kill him, a 20-year-old Republican described as a right-winger by his classmates, reportedly who had Trump signs on his lawn, tried to kill Trump. What that has to do with they, I don't know. Let's take a super quick break, and we'll continue the show right after this. Data brokers are constantly collecting huge amounts of information about what you do online, your address, phone number, email, financial info, even your political affiliation, and they sell that information to other companies. The FBI will sometimes even buy data in bulk to get information about Americans without a warrant. Your ex-girlfriend, your boss, anyone out there can use the publicly available data on search sites to find information about you. It's super easy. And worst of all, these data broker systems get hacked all the time, which really puts your data at risk, which is why you can end up getting scam calls and emails and the whole thing. The solution to all of this is our sponsor, Incogni. Incogni sends data removal requests to all major data brokers who are required by law to remove the information upon request. If any of the information stays online, Incogni will follow up about removal, and Incogni keeps you updated with details every step so you know what's going on and when the info is removed. What Incogni can accomplish is amazing. I use it myself. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and you'll get 60% off with the code Pacman. The link is down below.
I may have made the most diabolical snackable. I don't even know how I want to describe it. It's just, it's too fucked. I didn't want to make a full peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and banana sandwich because I didn't want to deal with all the bread. There was bread, but I have tortillas. I made a tortilla one. So I made it from a tortilla, but the way I made it, the way I made it is I rolled the banana into the tortilla instead of like cutting it into slices. I just made a massive rod.
Hey, here's something pretty funny. 2 weeks ago, MAGA Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, was ridiculing Joe Biden for needing and using a teleprompter. Yesterday, just minutes into the start of the Republican National Convention, MAGA Mike Johnson literally aborted his speech and walked off stage because the teleprompter went down. You will hear Mike Johnson in the middle of an introduction. Teleprompter fails. He flees the stage and the music starts.
It is now my honor to introduce the Attorney General. And there goes the teleprompter.
Does this guy have a fucking like brain cell left? How the fuck do you say that about Biden and then do this? I expected him to not say anything. To be like, here's my introduction. Okay. And then the teleprompter goes, you kind of play it off. And it's kind of weird, but it's okay.
And he just leaves. He just walks off stage, not even attempting to finish what he was doing and the introduction of whoever the hell it was that he was introducing. Now, there's a broader point here. This isn't really about teleprompters, but I do want to remind you, here is MAGA Mike Johnson just a couple weeks ago, pointing to the fact that Joe Biden uses a teleprompter as a real problem.
Unless the president is reading off a teleprompter, I don't think he's capable of making these big decisions, and that is something that should alarm all of us, and it's something that we need to be talking about. I think people are... Ladies and...
All right, and then it cuts back to yesterday's failure with the teleprompter. So listen, this is not really about teleprompters, but teleprompters are really kind of a microcosm of the principle matters only when it's convenient to us. For years, Trump and other Republicans would say, Obama only seems like a good speaker because of that teleprompter he uses. Obama. Right. Joe Biden can't think and he can barely speak, and it is only because of the teleprompter, which he shouldn't need and Trump doesn't need because Trump's with it and knows what to say. And of course, we have years of experience now of seeing Trump when a teleprompter fails or seeing Trump in a less formal setting, and it is brain rot, for lack of a better term. And then now, even more so, they continue to talk about how the evidence that Biden can't do anything is that he uses a teleprompter, despite the fact that Trump's been using teleprompters for years for all of his speeches. And then all of a sudden, the hangers-on and the clingers and the sycophants and the brown-nosers and the doormats, like Mike Johnson, who continue to go after Biden for the teleprompter fails during something as simple as just an introduction at RNC, and he walks off the stage and they have to start playing music. The rock music starts to try to cover up for the fact that without the teleprompter, he completely failed. So the principle, of course, is that their stated values, their stated barometers, their stated principles, they are only valid for as long as they are convenient. And all of a sudden, when it's Trump that needs the teleprompter, when it's MAGA Mike Johnson that needs the teleprompter, teleprompters as a sign of cognitive weakness completely disappears. Everybody is unique, and it seems that our healthcare should be as well. You can often feel rushed at the doctor, or you get generic advice that you end up taking with a grain of salt. Many people don't even know.
You know what's the worst fucking thing ever? Okay, well, let's watch this CBC video.
It is a.
Here's the title. Okay. Seems pretty Trump positive here.
Great honor to move that J.D. Vance be nominated by acclamation by this Republican National Convention as its candidate for the office of Vice President of the United States of America.
That's Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's pick for his running mate. It's a choice. The Republicans there like it, but it's getting a mixed reaction from American voters.
I've just heard a lot of things that he doesn't really like Trump in the past, so interesting to see.
He's positioned himself as a person of the working class when he's actually not. He's a person who comes from means.
Great choice.
One. He's young, he's military, he's a family man, he comes from Ohio, he isn't a privileged man, he was the underdog, and he's for the people.
I really don't know too much about J.D. Vance, other than I guess he's young.
Okay, so who is Trump's new vice presidential pick? Jay Shabria is a Republican strategist and a former political advisor to J.D. Vance. He's now managing director of Mag Global Strategies, and he joins me now. Jay, it's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
You can see David.
You worked with J.D. Vance on the Senate campaign. I mean, you're his chief strategist when you won a seat in the Senate. Have you talked to him since he was picked to be vice president? What's your reaction to this?
I've talked to him several times. We talk all the time. I mean, look, he's very overwhelmed and humbled by the opportunity to serve the country. I mean, it's really an amazing thing when you look at someone that's, he's 39 years old right now. He came from very humble means. If your viewers don't know much about him, you can check out his book Hillbilly LG, where there's a movie on Netflix called Hillbilly LG. I think they both have risen back in the top 10 this week. So look, he came from humble means. He joined the military. He's went into business and won an election for Senate the very first time he ran, which has never happened before in Ohio history. And now he's going to be the next vice president of the United States. It's amazing, and he feels it.
What do you think he brings to the ticket? Because Ohio, you try to broaden the base. He doesn't necessarily do that, but he definitely is part of the MAGA movement. Is that what Trump is looking for there, a successor?
Well, I think there's several things that he does do well. And look, the days of trying to find a state or trying to get a specific demographic are kind of over. That's not the way you look at these things, in my opinion. I think Donald Trump made a very smart pick for a few reasons. One, J.D. Vance is probably the best person to go on TV and into very tough environments against hostile hosts to defend Donald Trump and to also advocate for his vision. That's a huge aspect of modern presidential campaigns. Number two, he's a military person, as we talked about before. He was a Marine. I think he's going to be he's the first Marine to be on a major presidential ticket ever. He actually served in Iraq, so he actually understands what soldiers went through there. So that's number two. And then number three, and I think most important, he has the ability to communicate a message to the cocktail party set, the people that like to buy these books, but then also to everyday working class Americans, which are so much more moving towards the Republican Party every day, whether it's black, Hispanic, or white. He has the ability to communicate all of them. And I think that's why, especially when you look at some of our swing states, which are Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, he's got a story that resonates with a lot of the large swaths of those states. And I think they're gonna find a lot of bounty in those states.
He's also got a story that resonates with Silicon Valley billionaires. I mean, we've seen like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, people like this. What is it about J.D. Vance that the big tech giants are lining up behind him for?
Look, I think a lot of policy chops that J.D. espouses, he's got that ability to go in rooms there and convince them this is what we have to do to make America the next level. Look, rich people, poor people, whatever, they all want what's right for America, and there's a lot of synergies there too. Look, J.D. spent a little bit of time in Silicon Valley. He was an investor. He knows how to talk their language, and I think they share some certain visions for the rest of the country.
Okay, I'm sure you know about the things he said about Donald Trump in the past, and like you, he's been a guest on this particular program. Back in 2016, J.D. Vance, when he was just the author, J.D. Vance, not the vice presidential pick, he was here to promote his book Hillbilly Elegy in 2016, and he was asked about Donald Trump. I want to play this clip. Here's what he had to say back in 2016 on BNP.
Unfortunately, I think Trump is
they even had him on the fucking show earlier.
distracting us from the real issues. I don't think that he has good plans to bring jobs back. I don't think he has any solutions to the opioid epidemic that's plaguing these communities. I don't think that he's going to bring hope to a very frustrated and hopeless area. So ultimately, I'm not a Trump supporter. So not a Trump supporter. You've seen the text message he sent to a friend saying, I can't decide if he's a cynical opportunist like Nixon or if he's America's Hitler. Boy, that's a big change. How do you explain it?
Look, Jay's been very forthcoming about this change, too. When he criticized Donald Trump, he said, I'm not sure he's going to be the change we need, but we're doing the things we need to do. And when Donald Trump took office, and I think most Americans today will say that they were better off 4 years ago than where they are today, he realized that he was a pretty darn good president. And in terms of, if you take all the rhetoric away, if you take the Twitter away, but actually the policy that he had in America, America's better off at that point. So look, he said he made a mistake. He was wrong. And remember, you're talking about a person when he was on your show in his early 30s. A lot of people go through a political evolution and try to figure things out. He just happened to do it on TV while he was figuring these things out. And he came on the other side, and he realized that Donald Trump was a good president, and he's been an ardent defender of his ever since. And look, they've hit it off. Donald Trump's forgiven him for those comments. He understands where he came from and where he is now. Donald Trump Jr. is a close friend of his now, and he's on the ticket. I really don't see any difference there. And look, the other thing I would say too is when there's a real conversion, when people can say they made a mistake, American people have grace for that. And we saw this in the Ohio Senate race. Trust me, these issues really get all the way through that. That was the most expensive race in Ohio history, and I'm sure it's going to be national too. But we'll deal with that then.
The Democrats sort of reveal how they plan to try to put him through the buzzsaw of U.S. politics, right? Talking about comments he's made about women should stay in marriages even if they're abusive for the good of the family. His views on abortion. How do you think he's going to stand up to what will be the attack of the Democrats right now?
What I've learned about JD in the years I've known him, and I've known him for quite a while now at this point, is the media, Democrats, the elites, they always underestimate him. They underestimate him and they try to characterize him in certain ways. He rises above their expectations. He rises above their caricatures, and he's been very successful. He's a brilliant communicator. He's a brilliant policy person, and I have no doubt that he's going to be the next vice president of the United States.
He and Trump are not exactly free traders. Just to look at it from a Canadian perspective, as part of arguably the most successful free trade agreement in the history of the planet. If they should win, as you say, he's going to be the vice president of the United States. They are believers in tariffs. They're not necessarily believers in free trade. What should Canadians expect in terms of foreign policy and trade policy from Trump Vance?
Look, I think there's this concept of being America first, and you saw it last time when Donald Trump opened up NAFTA and he did renegotiate things. I actually think I was on the air one of the days that happened, and there was an issue with dairy farms in Canada. He's going to fight for what's best for America, not necessarily what's best for the other parts of the world. So I think there are going to be conversations around that. I will not speak for Donald Trump. I can't do that. I don't think anyone really
but sometimes what's better for the rest of the world is better for the United States.
should and expect to know what's going to happen. But I do know that those kinds of issues will start to be addressed and start to look at. But I think there's going to be some conversations we have with the rest of the world.
He's 39 years old. The American politics is just skipping over Gen X and going right to the millennials, it seems, with this pick. I mean, what does that mean for the Republican Party to go with someone that young in an election where the age of the people at the top of the ticket is really an all-consuming issue in a lot of ways?
Well, look, I do think that there's a big contrast, especially when you're looking at the other ticket, when you're looking at someone that's so feeble. I desperately am looking forward to the debate if it is Kamala Harris, because I know JD, I know how he prepares for debates. He's really good at this, and I think he's going to be able to rise to that occasion. What really bothers me about his age is that he's much younger than me at this point. I don't like being the gray hair in the room.
Well, I'm the no hair and I'm much older. But Jay, you mentioned that he's good at debates. Kamala Harris has challenged him to a debate in August to join her in a debate that's been hosted by CBS. I've not yet seen if he's said yes or no. I suspect that's a post-convention decision. Do you think he should do it? Yeah, do you think he should do it? Do you think he will do it?
I think he will debate her, and I think it's going to be great, and I'm looking very much forward to that night because I know I've seen him debate before. I've seen how people come in with expectations about him before, about where they're going to attack him, and he's really good at this. Again, I think he's one of the best communicators of the Republican Party. I think that's part of the reason Donald Trump picked him, and I think he's the right occasion.
Jay Shabria, we'll be inviting you back when these debates happen, if these debates happen, and it's good. Thank you for being here with us today. Jay Shabria, Managing Director at Mad Global Strategy. Thanks, sir.
Thanks so much, David.
Okay. Now, here's my issue with that video. That was good. You have an opinion from another side. You're letting him come on, kind of promote himself, blah, blah, blah. No fucking conservative in all of Canada will fucking watch this. And then they'll go around just going, I think the fucking LGBT, everything they say is against people. Fucking, it's just... Anyways. Yeah, so I want to get down there, but I can't. I can't because of reasons. I go. Every once in a while, my fucking nose hairs will just go fucking ballistic, bro. It's actually triggering. I'm actually triggered. It's like it feels like they're afraid, if that makes sense. Like they're zipping around in every fucking direction. They slam up my nose, and I can feel them digging back into my brain. Give me fucking ingrown hair. I don't know why. I take care of you. Stop doing this. I use fucking beard oil for a fucking reason, and brush you. Semi regularly. Maybe do better on that. Like, it's just so random. I don't understand. Just like randomly through the day, all of a sudden it's just like, oh, there's a pain as my fucking hairs are stabbing my brain, my upper lip. That's where my brain is. Bye, big fella. Bye, big fella. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to dodge an arrow here. Lahoozer. Yeah, my qualm there is just with my other video. Sorry, I had to finish my other problem that I have. The CBC and Canadian news in general, but CBC is like the big target from Pierre Poilievre. Well, I guess they're the parent to a lot of other companies. Anyways, is that they actually don't watch it. And Pierre Poilievre just wants to defund them so that he has less people, he has less things taking him to account, which is, in my opinion, super fucked and super dangerous. I don't like that. That's gross. That's disgusting. I don't like the idea of just you deleting opposition because they take you to account and they actually challenge you on ideas that you're uncomfortable with, and you're constantly every single time a conservative gets invited on a panel, they decline the panel. Just go voice like what, and it just what happens is that because they're capable of declining these invitations, they can then go out and be like, and they can say whatever they want because you know there's no actual thing you can compare it to. It's not like you can actually go and look and be like, oh yeah, actually, no, you know this conservative wasn't treated unfairly. Because by the way, every time it does happen, every time somebody does show up on a CBC news broadcast, that's all I see in the comments. Or that's all I see from us. It's like, oh, so and so actually did pretty good here. They actually did blah 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 blah. It's like, bro, this happens every single fucking time. It actually happened with Trump with CNN, where the Trump debate happened, and they're like, oh man, that was actually so good. They actually did a really good job of actually, you know, like taking, you know, they did a good job there. They asked the questions to Biden, and they held him to account, and they weren't too unfair. But it's like, bro, this happens all the fucking time. You lunatics just don't watch the shit. If anything, CNN wasn't rough enough on Trump because he just lied every 5 seconds. But they didn't want to interrupt and like stop whatever the fuck they didn't want to stop. So Trump was allowed to just go fucking hands free on that and just fucking gat away as many lies as possible. Yeah. How the fuck do I get down there? How do I get to the area? Oh. Take up to the two halves now. Oh, if you obtain the two halves of the Erdtree secret medallion. What the fuck is the Erdtree secret medallion? Do I have both of those pieces? I forgot about that. Oh, I could have went there earlier then. If I, well, assuming I have the Erdtree. What is this? Fucking kill me. Why do I do this to myself? Erdtree. I just want to find them. Erdtree is located in the village of the Alp. Okay, so Castle Sol and Albernax. Okay. Fuck, god damn it! I could have been there so much earlier. I think. I'm not mad. So Village of the Albernax is one, and then the Castle Sol. Do I have it on? Isn't it in Kaled? Am I on crack there? thought this thing was in Caleb. Oh, I am stupid. Alright. Let's just go discover the summon sign. Or the site of grace. Over by Castle Soul. So no, I couldn't just go to her. I had to go. So I'm not. Oh. Am I dead here? Texan Tribe got. Oh. Thank God for random boss battle there. Where's my soul? Oh, they're up. I might just say fuck out of my runes. Yeah. Okay. Who the fuck are they? Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Fuck you. Suck my wiener. Oh, let's go to the same grave. Deteriorating. I'm deteriorating. Literally deteriorating. I feel like at this point I could have just farmed the fucking stones. Smithing stones I'm looking for. Unironically. Fort Sugma. Or Castle Sugma. Okay. Don't know what I was expecting. Oh yeah, there's a lot of right here. Being a little stupid. Being a little stupid. You do a little bit of trolling. You are.
Wisconsin, Ohio, Minnesota, and far beyond.
Through David Packard.
The most interesting aspect of this is that all of Trump's short list doesn't really seem to like him. And J.D. Vance acutely seems to hate Donald Trump. I do want to remind you, here is J.D. Vance previously explaining why Trump is not a good candidate and showing that J.D. actually perfectly understands what it is Trump does.
No!
And he doesn't like
Who's
those.
that? My fear is, I think Donald Trump is not the right candidate for this group of voters.
I'm throwing.
I think that this selection is really having a negative effect, especially on the white working class, right? Because I think a lot of these grievances are legitimate, but what it's doing is it's giving people an excuse to point the finger at someone else. It's point the finger at Mexican immigrants or Chinese trade or...
This is an 100% accurate analysis of what Trump does.
The Democratic elites or whatever else. And sometimes these villains are legitimate. I think it's totally fair to say that the policy elites of the Democratic Party haven't been totally concerned about the white working class. But at the same time, fundamentally what's going on and what Donald Trump has done is change the focus of the white working class from a sort of engaged and constructive politics to a politics of pointing the finger.
Completely accurate. He now no longer stands by that. Formally, I think he still believes it. More ugly stuff about how he can't stomach Trump and Trump is noxious.
I'm going to vote third party because I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
He told Charlie Rose in an interview, "I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him." Vance tweeted in 2016, "My God, what an idiot," referring to Trump. There are many of these since-deleted tweets where he expressed he would even consider supporting Hillary Clinton in 2016 over Donald Trump. Noxious, reprehensible, suggested Trump is guilty of sexual assault, which of course he is, but he is a total doormat loyalist. So on the question of what does J.D. Vance really believe now, I continue to be extraordinarily skeptical of these political 180s. I don't really buy that Dave Rubin, around 40 years of age, did a complete and total political 180. I think that he was driven to what seemed like the most direct path to money and notoriety, and it happened to 180 him towards MAGA. But I don't believe for a second that those political views really changed in that way. Over time, you sort of get hit by audience capture, and you probably do start to tell yourself, I really do believe stuff, but I don't think it's genuine. And in the same way, I just don't believe that J.D. Vance, there's a lot of criticisms of J.D. Vance, but he's not a stupid guy. He's not going to mistakenly believe everything he said about Trump in 2016. And then now all of a sudden, Trump's a hero and Trump's a savior and Trump's fantastic. What this is opportunism on both sides. Vance pivots from Trump could be America's Hitler to yes, sir, of course, yes, sir. That's Vance's cynical move. Calling him an idiot, calling him noxious, all of it, it just underscores the total lack of genuine support for Trump today. It also relates to the internal Republican Party's dynamics, which is fractured, where loyalty is performative rather than genuine. And if you look around the Republican Party right now, performative loyalty accurately describes much of what's going on. You just have to appear to be loyal. And quite frankly, if you're Trump, I don't even think Trump cares about real, genuine loyalty. He also just cares about the appearance of loyalty. We all know Vance hates Trump. We all know Vance thinks Trump's an idiot. But this is opportunism. It's also opportunism from the standpoint of Trump. But here's where that may fail. I don't know that in the net calculation, J.D. Vance as Trump's VP secures him a single additional net vote. As far as the policy package that Vance publicly supports now, it's just the kind of irrational MAGA-ism, rhetoric mixed with vague and confusing, often counterproductive policy. Trump was already going to win Ohio anyway, so he doesn't need Vance's help there. And it's really not obvious to me that Vance actually helps Trump in any way. So from a voting standpoint, you know, the Project 2025 people, Heritage Foundation, they said they are thrilled with the selection of J.D. Vance. Party insiders, to some degree, thrilled with the selection of J.D. Vance because he's just not going to get much attention and he's not going to get in the way. But as far as the vote count, I really don't know that this does anything for Donald Trump. And it certainly sets up J.D. Vance to opportunistically align himself to be a heartbeat away from the presidency. So the real reason is that Trump sees Vance as a guy who will lay down, yes, sir. You know, Trump often lies when he says they came to me and they said, sir. J.D. Vance really will go to Trump and say, sir, walk all over me. I'd like another. There is one Fox host who figured this out. I want to talk about that next. Fox News' Brit Hume weighed in about Donald Trump's selection of J.D. Vance, the Republican senator, as his running mate. And lo and behold, Brit Hume has come to the same conclusion I've come to. The reason that J.D. Vance was selected isn't because he has the experience. It's certainly not because he has the knowledge. I don't believe it's because he's charismatic. I don't really think he is, although some people say he sort of is charismatic. Vance got selected because he sucked up the right way, denounced and distanced himself from everything that he previously said, and is now, yes, sir, Mr. Trump. Yes, sir, President Trump. Yes, absolutely. Here's Brit Hume calling it the right way.
Some people may look at this and remember what J.D. Vance used to say about Donald Trump. And he was a hardcore never-Trumper not very many years ago. And he reversed himself completely not that long ago. And, you know, one of the things you worry about is when somebody's making a pick for a potential president if something happens to him, then you think, well, is this person, how did he get the job? Did he get it because he was really the best qualified to be president, or did he get it because he sucked up effectively to the nominee? People will have questions about that.
Oh, well, there are questions and there are answers. The answer is yes. J.D. Vance got this because he sucked up effectively to the nominee, 1,000%. He also has the profile that Trump wants. Vance is not bombastic in the way that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are. Vance appears more sane than somebody like a Carrie Lake. Vance seems as though he will meet the description and requirements of loyalty as seen by Trump. What those include never contradict Trump in public, do whatever Trump wants, don't take attention away, don't be too loud and get the media attention that Trump wants for himself. So that's the basis of this pick. Will it matter in the end? Well, as I said 5 minutes ago, I don't think J.D. Vance gets Trump any additional net votes. The counterpoint to that is it's not clear Trump needs anybody to get him any additional net votes because Trump may be on the way to an unstoppable victory here. Now, he may not be. And part of this we can see through polling that we need to wait on to get post-shooting polling. Or it's what a country where first we had to say, well, let's wait for post-conviction polling. And then let's wait for post-debate polling after Biden's terrible performance. And now we have to say, let's wait for post-assassination attempt polling and post-bogus RNC polling. So the mood at the RNC, very much an environment of emboldened calls for retribution, chants of fight, 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 which we will discuss a little bit later, and the very clear, everybody's laying down. Everybody has become a doormat. J.D. Vance at the top of that list as Trump's VP, but the entire ambiance at the RNC of we are laying down for Trump. Yes, sir, I will have another, please. So let's take a very quick break. We'll hear from a sponsor or two. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. And if by any chance you haven't yet read or heard about Project 2025, I wrote a white paper, which I'm giving away for free. You can find it at davidpakman.com/Project 2025. See what it is all about, and we'll be back right after this short break. Don't forget that the best way to support the David Pakman Show is by becoming a member, which gives you access to the daily bonus show, the regular show with no commercials. You also get access to our entire archive of every episode dating back a really long time, and plenty of other awesome membership perks. Go to joinpakman.com. Joinpakman.com. The David Pakman Show is primarily supported by our audience. We are an independent progressive media program. The YouTube channel, the audio podcast, the TikTok videos, the Snapchat videos, Facebook, Instagram, all of it. It all is funded at the top directly by the revenue we get from people who sign up on my website, joinpakman.com. I invite you to do it at a particularly critical time in American politics and for the future of democracy. You can get a sizable discount off of the cost of your membership if you choose to use the coupon code SAVEDEMOCRACY24. We do a daily extra show called The Bonus Show, as well as offering commercial-free video and audio streams of the show every day, hours before the show is made public to everybody else. So if that sounds even remotely appealing, check it out at joinpakman.com. There's a short clip from an interview at yesterday's first day of the Republican National Convention with Donald Trump Jr. that I want to play for you. The interview was with MSNBC's Jacob Sabaroff. And what's notable about this is that the entire environment at the RNC yesterday, post-Trump assassination attempt, is one of emboldened hostility. That's the way I would describe it. And in fact, that may even be too light for what it is. It might be more borderline violent contempt, not only for Democrats, but also for the media, despite the fact that it's a Republican who tried to kill Trump, who we now have learned had Trump signs on his front lawn, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Listen to the hostility and the contempt in Don Jr.'s voice here, as he is asked very reasonable questions by reporter Jacob Sabaroff. And he says, oh, get out of here, you clown. This is the new attitude. They feel untouchable. They feel that their victory is inevitable in November.
Oh, based.
And
so much baseness. How do I get out of here?
They may not be wrong. We have to make them wrong. Take a listen to this.
What is that change going to look like, Don? What practically your father, as president, I think you would even say was a divisive figure. What's it going to look like in the second term?
I don't think he was a divisive figure at all. I think the media created divisiveness around him. They lied about Russia collusion. They said he was a traitor. They went after him in every which way as possible. If the media actually starts being an honest broker, talking about the things that he did, the prosperity he brought, the peace deals that he signed around the world, rather than the disaster that we're living right now, I think you do everyone in the country a big favor.
I know immigration's important to him. I covered the family separation crisis closely. Will we continue to see policies like separating 5,000 children deliberately from their parents?
You mean the Obama administration?
You know they didn't do that, sir.
Okay, sure.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
Now, at this point, Eric Trump sort of says off mic to Don something about it might be time to go or MSDNC, and then the hostility gets ramped up.
You know they didn't do that, sir.
Okay, sure.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
Get out of here. They do not want to be subjected to any serious policy questions. They do not want to be accountable for anything that they did or plan to do. They and they have a license now, or they feel that they do, and this is exactly what we talked about after the attempted assassination of Trump on Saturday. They now feel as though they are politically untouchable, but just as importantly or more, they now believe they are beyond even scrutiny. And unfortunately, and it's so tragic and it's so sad, we talked about this yesterday with the news that Judge Eileen Cannon has dismissed the documents case against Donald Trump. They are getting signals from the world all the time that they are untouchable and they are beyond scrutiny. Guy tries to shoot and kill Trump, and it grazes Trump's ear, and he's fine, and he's playing golf the next day, despite the fact that someone else was killed there. Feels untouchable. We get asked questions.
Didn't visit
by
the guy. Didn't
reporters
call
at
the guy
RNC.
or the guy's
This
family.
is our party. Get out
Biden
of
tried
here,
to call
you
them,
clown.
and the wife
None of that
declined
happened,
the call.
even though there are serious policy questions to answer. So this is exactly what we feared. This is exactly what we've been worried about.
Right now?
It is happening.
3 or 4?
It is happening. And my suggestion, you know, they don't want to answer questions from Jacob Sabaroff. You can't make them answer questions. There's only so much we can do. We can still defeat Trump in the ballot box, at the ballot box in November by voting. It may happen, it may not happen, we don't know. I'm curious to see what the polling will look like next week or in another week once both the shooting and the RNC have kind of come and gone. But while you can denounce and condemn any attempt to kill a political candidate, the way I and 99.9% of my audience have done, but also recognize Trump's stupid ideas about tariffs don't deserve to be voted for just because someone shot at him, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And this is why it's so frustrating to hear, as we did yesterday and as I've continued to hear overnight from people who go, you know, I wasn't going to before, but now that they shot Trump, and we'll talk about they in a moment, now that they shot Trump, I'm voting for the guy.
Yeah, I'm
really?
pretty sure I can
If
do
you
some
didn't
big
like
game
his
with this
tax
guy, if I
policy
just can get close
before,
enough.
why would you vote for him because someone shot at him? If you didn't like his foreign policy before, why would you vote for him because someone shot at him? It's not rational, clear thinking. We can remain rational and clear. We denounce and abhor any violence.
Hello?
And when we look at Biden versus Trump, we can still make the right choice in November. So a wild emboldening taking place at the RNC. Hey, here's something pretty funny. 2 weeks ago, MAGA Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, was ridiculing Joe Biden for needing and using a teleprompter. Yesterday, just minutes into the start of the Republican National Convention, MAGA Mike Johnson literally aborted his speech and walked off stage because the teleprompter went down. You will hear Mike Johnson in the middle of an introduction, teleprompter fails, he flees the stage, and the music starts.
It is now my honor to introduce the Attorney General, and there goes the teleprompter.
And he just leaves. He just walks off stage, not even attempting to finish what he was doing and the introduction of whoever the hell it was that he was introducing. Now, there's a broader point here. This isn't really about teleprompters, but I do want to remind you, here is MAGA Mike Johnson just a couple weeks ago, pointing to the fact that Joe Biden uses a teleprompter as a real problem.
Unless the president is reading off a teleprompter, I don't think he's capable of making these big decisions, and that is something that should alarm all of us, and it's something that we need to be talking about. I think people are...
Ladies and...
All right, and then it cuts back to yesterday's failure with the teleprompter. So listen, this is not really about teleprompters, but teleprompters are really kind of a microcosm of the principle matters only when it's convenient to us. For years, Trump and other Republicans would say, Obama only seems like a good speaker because of that teleprompter he used.
Right. Please tell me
Joe
that counts.
Biden can't think and he can barely speak. And it is only because of the teleprompter, which he shouldn't need, and Trump doesn't
I have to go
need
through the whole thing.
because Trump's with it and knows what to say. And of course, we have years of experience now.
Why didn't
of
I
seeing
get to
Trump when a teleprompter fails, or seeing Trump in a less formal setting?
I don't know why I wasn't able
And
to assassinate,
It is
critical
brain
strike
rot,
him, but
for lack of a better term.
I guess throw.
And then
They
now,
also could've
even
just
more
single
so,
stabbed
they
him.
continue to talk about how the evidence that Biden can't do anything is that he uses a teleprompter, despite the fact that Trump's been using teleprompters for years for all of his speeches. And then all of a sudden, the hangers-on and the clingers and the sycophants and the brown-nosers and the doormats, like Mike Johnson, who continue to go after Biden for the teleprompter.
Hello?
The teleprompter fails during something as simple as just an introduction at RNC. And he walks off the stage, and they have to start playing music. The rock music starts to try to cover up for the fact that without the teleprompter, he completely failed. So
I don't know why I
the
wouldn't walk on.
principle, of course, is that their stated
enemy fell.
values, their stated barometers, their stated principles, they are only valid for as long as they are convenient. And all of a sudden, when it's Trump that needs the teleprompter, when it's MAGA Mike Johnson that needs the teleprompter, teleprompters as a sign of cognitive weakness completely disappears. All right, I want to talk about they.
Oh, I don't have enough room.
What do I mean by that?
Because I died.
Many of you,
like a dog.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. They tried to kill Trump. They who? It was a single 20-year-old Republican who tried to kill Trump. This is the new one. And Eric Trump was interviewed yesterday at the RNC on day one.
Okay.
And he weaves together what is becoming the prevailing narrative on the assassination attempt against Trump being the latest outcropping of the broader plan by, I guess, Democratic elites to get rid of Donald Trump. And he casually uses the word they. And I try to be skeptical of they in general and always say
never
who,
in my life
they
seen this
who.
stance.
When people call me and they talk about how they are doing this or they are doing that, I say, who is the they? In this particular case, surrounding the Trump assassination attempt, being very careful about they is of particular importance. So let's listen to the little story that Eric Trump weaves together, and then we'll talk about they.
They have done everything to try and strip him of his wealth and of his fame. They've tried to break up our family. They've done everything possible to try and get him and kill him. And they literally tried to kill him this week. And despite that, he's undeterred. He's unrelenting. He loves this country. He's the one billionaire who does not need to be doing this. His life would be exponentially better if he wasn't. But he wants to make America great again, and I'm so proud of him. I've never had more respect for a person in my life, and
I'll watch.
You know, it's funny. I was there with Don and Tiffany and everybody else. We were in that exact same position in 2016, and we continue to fight on that stage with him every single day.
All right, they're fighting. So he talks about they. They tried the narrative that Eric Trump and others have been pushing is they tried to silence him by stealing the election. So this is an amalgamation of all of the they. They tried to silence him by stealing the election. They tried to silence him by suing him. They tried to silence him by indicting him. They tried to silence him by convicting him. And now they are trying to silence him by killing him. One 20-year-old Republican tried to kill Trump. It's deplorable. I've denounced it. I'm against all political violence. Unfortunately, someone was killed at the rally. It happened not to have been Trump by chance, but it was an individual in the crowd, another injured. But the narrative of they that they are weaving together is ridiculous because the they in every case other than the shooting is, of course, the Biden Justice Department, the DNC and their henchmen who tried to steal the election or who they might argue did steal the election in 2020 from Donald Trump. The weaponized local DAs and prosecutors under the thumb of Biden who decided to indict and decided to prosecute and whatever else the case may be. And into that they go, and they tried to kill him now too, suggesting, as some members of Congress did, that Biden was involved in the assassination attempt, that Democrats were involved, that it was left-wing rhetoric. Like, for example, saying Trump is a threat to democracy counts as inciting violence. And I'll tell you something. I've been getting emails, voicemails, and horrible excretions on X or tweets on Twitter where people are saying, David, you've been calling Trump a threat to democracy. So you incited this. You incited this. You've been calling Trump a convicted felon. So you incited this. Trump's literally a convicted felon. Unless and until that's overturned, Trump is a convicted felon. Stating a fact is now considered an incitement to violence, but there's more to the hypocrisy. There's more to the hypocrisy. Because in the context of saying we've got to turn down the volume and the rhetoric from the left about Trump being a threat to democracy is responsible for the shooting, here is Eric Trump in the same interview yesterday using the exact same rhetoric about Joe Biden.
And yet they're going back to January 6th, less than 48 hours later.
And they don't say Ashley Babbitt's name.
It's really horrible. Biden is a threat to democracy.
Biden is a threat to democracy. On the one hand, they say claiming Trump is a threat to democracy is what got him shot. I don't really know why, because it was a Republican who shot him. Okay, but put that aside for a second. They say when Democrats warn that Trump is a threat to democracy, they are inspiring assassination attempts. And then 48 hours after that assassination attempt, supposedly based on people saying, hey, Trump's a threat to democracy, Eric Trump says, Biden's a threat to democracy. Now, if you confront them, what will they say? They'll, of course, say, well, no, Biden really is a threat to democracy. Trump isn't. That's the difference. But the whole point is we need unity. We need to turn down the temperature. The unity went out the window the second that it was determined that Trump was okay and that we are now moving back to politics as usual. So when they talk about they tried to kill him, a 20-year-old Republican described as a right-winger by his classmates, reportedly who had Trump signs on his lawn, tried to kill Trump. What that has to do with they, I don't know. Let's take a super quick break, and we'll continue the show right after this. If you value what we do at The David Pakman Show, remember to support us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show, where you can get access to behind-the-scenes videos, the daily bonus show, the commercial-free daily show. You can support the show for as little as $2 a month. Check it out at patreon.com/David Pakman Show. I want to go back chronologically in the timeline just a little bit to a speech that President Biden gave before the attempted shooting of Donald Trump. Now, I want to be really clear about that. President Biden has, for the time being, suspended campaign activity, or at least did in the aftermath of the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. My guess is, especially with the Republican National Convention now underway, which is an overtly political event, that President Biden will be back to campaigning soon as well. But this is the first opportunity I've had to discuss it. President Biden giving a speech in Detroit before the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. And many of you sent me this particular clip that I'm going to play because you felt that this was a different Biden. Biden going directly at Trump, saying Trump raped her with regard to E. Jean Carroll and the civilly liable sexual assault which a New York judge said met the definition of rape. Many of you overwhelmingly like this Biden, the more aggressive Biden, going directly at these aspects of Trump, while a few of you said, David, I'm just not sure about this. I'm not sure if this is really to President Biden's benefit to talk in these terms. So let's listen to it. Definitely more energy here, but is this sort of discussion, is Trump raped her what we want to see Joe Biden say and what the campaign will benefit from? It's certainly accurate, that's for sure. Let's listen.
Who he is, what he intends to do. Folks, Donald Trump is a convicted criminal. He's convicted. He was convicted by a jury of his peers of 34 felonies for paying hush money to a porn star and hiding from voters in 2016. Donald Trump was found liable for sexual assault by a judge who told us not to be fooled by Trump's brushing it off. Here's what the judge wrote, quote, the judge in that case wrote, Mr. Trump attempt to minimize sexual abuse, finding it frivolous. Mr. Trump raped her. No, I mean, it's the judge's language, not mine. He raped her. As many people understand the word rape. Folks,
Donald Trump is a business fraud. He lost his license to do business in New York State. Been fined over $400 million for giving false information to banks. And he's still facing charge for mishandling classified information, which is a criminal offense. He's still facing charge for his role in January 6th trying to overthrow the outcome of the 2020 election. He's still facing charges in Georgia for election interference. Remember his phone call? I just need 11,780 votes. Name me another person. Oh, she's a lady. Look, if you want to know how bad a businessman Trump really is, just think about this. He inherited millions of dollars only to squander it. He's filed bankruptcy 6 times. He even went bankrupt running a casino.
All right, so I think you get the point. Just the long laundry list of attacks on Donald Trump. Really, the new part there, though, is Mr. Trump raped her according to a judge. You know, in a different political environment, this is the caveat. My instinct might be, I don't know if this is a good idea.
It's just like a video. Live. Wag.
$45 million. These women shouldn't get $145 million. It's ridiculous.
So, Rudy,
and that gets the tape that I would use to defend myself has been doctored. 3 hours have been taken out of a 12-hour tape of the most relevant parts of it.
So that's your claim, but
I know it's my claim.
Yeah,
those are good claims.
Okay, Mayor Giuliani.
I'm not going to give those up.
Last thing, it connects all.
The case should be reversed.
So you say that case was wrong, that judge was wrong, that jury was wrong, all the J6, the judge is wrong, the jury is wrong. 61 times you guys went to court.
I did
Trump
not
and Trump. No, not you.
One time.
Trump and Trump allies went to court 61 times after the election to prove fraud. You guys said it would be easy to prove. You had all the evidence. But in all those cases, there was no evidence presented. So isn't that a massive problem when you say, and I mean, it's a big charge, a giant charge that American election has been stolen, and then you don't present any evidence. And that includes Trump-appointed judges, some of the most conservative judges in the country, and they all said you didn't present any evidence.
I stopped presenting evidence after the first case because I didn't trust the courts.
Come on, Rudy, come on.
I just stopped. You know what?
To the average person, doesn't that seem a little unbelievable?
No, not if you live in New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta.
I didn't trust the court, so I just stopped presenting evidence. You know, they just wouldn't believe it even when I showed them. Like, do you have any evidence? Well, yeah, I
judicial system should not be trusted.
I didn't say the whole judicial system. The Democrats were very
just whenever you guys go.
No, they did something very smart. They cheated in corrupt Democrat jurisdictions. They didn't cheat in a neutral place. They cheated in Philadelphia, one of the most corrupt Democratic cities in the country. They cheated in Atlanta, which is probably one of the most corrupt cities ever. Every other mayor.
But Mayor, it's run by Republicans. Georgia, Raffensperger. You've got the Republican governor.
Republican, and Raffensperger has an awful lot of problems of his own, including doctoring my tape. Including having gotten 4 days after the election a report telling him about the serious problems in the election, which he concealed until it was discovered on an FOIA request 2.5 years later. He now has 375,000 paper ballots missing, and finally his pal, the governor, has removed him from the election commission. And
but
the
Rudy, do you see that now
the lieutenant governor has said 3 years too late. Raffensperger has never conducted a good election for us.
But do you see now all the Republican politicians in Arizona, in Wisconsin legislature, in Georgia, all the Republican judges appointed by Trump, appointed by Reagan, Bush, etc. All of them rule against you guys.
No.
All of them say that you don't have the evidence. So, and you're saying they're all biased. Why would they all be biased against you?
The Wisconsin court ruled 3 to 4. Against us. 3 of them thought we had a valid case that Trump had won Wisconsin. They were the 3 Republicans. 4 Democrats voted against us. The Pennsylvania court, everyone who voted against us was a Democrat. And do you know the principle they used to vote against us? So we had 700,000 to 800,000 examples of times that ballots were counted without a Republican being allowed to be present. The court said that because they were in the rooms, even though they could be 100 or 200 yards away, they were present. That's an absurd, intellectually dishonest decision.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Only given by corrupt Democratic judges.
Let me ask you a question.
No, Trump-appointed judges
Yes,
all ruled
yes,
against you.
yes.
That was a case in the state court, and they were all Democrats, appointed by Democrats.
Okay.
There are Trump
Not one
judges.
case.
There are Trump. That's the biggest case. We were winning by 800,000 votes when they stopped. How about this?
Rudy.
On election night, we were winning in every state that we eventually lost, all 5.
You know the
votes
votes
came in?
coming later, Rudy. You know that.
All 5 times?
Yes.
Yeah, because the
they're
vote
all
by mail, because you guys chose not to do vote by mail, which was a terrible idea.
You make up 800,000 votes?
Yeah, vote by mail across 330 million people.
I had witnesses, mathematicians willing to testify.
Why didn't you have them testify?
Allow me to.
Okay, I have another question.
Don't you know what the decision was in Philadelphia? I wasn't allowed to have a preliminary hearing. I wasn't allowed to present a witness. I'm going to tell you why. Because the courts didn't want to get involved. They didn't want to get involved in this dirty.
No, but in that case that you were in, the judge asked you, "Do you have any evidence?" And you said no.
I didn't say that. I didn't say no.
You did.
No. This is the press.
We have a direct quote.
You don't understand what happened. I had to argue a complaint that I was trying to substitute our complaint for that alleged fraud that didn't allege fraud. And he asked me in the complaint that was before him, was there an allegation of fraud? I said no. Now, if you go on, you will hear me say, but we want to substitute a complaint that we've now had time to prepare because our lawyer in that case had to leave because he was threatened with being fired by his law firm, and the judge refused to substitute us. It's just like what they did to me on January 6th. On January 6th, I said we should have trial by combat.
Oh my God.
Terrible, right? Now, if you look at my quote, I said, I would love to have our people and their people have a trial by combat over which machine works. And if their machine actually can't be penetrated by the internet and you can't change the vote, then I'll apologize. And if we can show that their machine does, then they're going to have to go to jail.
But let me just start by saying, hold on.
Let me finish. This is really important because CNN still continues to do this.
What's still next, though?
So Thompson and the J6 committee sued me, Trump Jr. separately. And the judge, who was an Obama appointee in the District of Columbia, wrote an opinion saying that had been horribly taken out of context, that there's nothing that I said that would provoke violence. In fact, the rest of my speech was about legal matters and being peaceful, and that it was not a plausible charge, and dismissed the case. Nobody reports that. The case against me for having anything to do with January 6th, which I had nothing to do with, I didn't even know it happened until after it happened, was thrown out unceremoniously by an Obama judge. Thank God we found one.
Question for you. 2 questions. Let me ask them both, and then you can answer them both.
Sure.
And then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Number 1, why did Kenneth Chesebro refer to the fake electors as fake electors in communications about the fake electors?
Because he's stupid.
Okay.
I mean, the fact is they weren't fake electors. They were from my point of view, they were alternate electors. I always saw them, and they were always presented to me as...
Oh, no. Sorry. I was like, oh, man, in Kerbal Space Program, what do they do? It's early access. The people who make Kerbal Space Programs shut down. Fuck, can I get a refund? Hold on. I gotta see if I can get a refund.
The state legislature decides in December that the vote should be changed from Biden to Trump, then we have electors that can be substituted for them. If you didn't have electors, if you had named electors by the 14th of December or whatever it was, then you would have had, Biden would have been deprived of those votes and we wouldn't have gotten them. And this was based on legal research that was done in 1960 when Nixon and Kennedy disputed Hawaii. And Hawaii wasn't decided until December. I picked December 30th because Hawaii was decided on December 30th. And they substituted Kennedy's alternate electors for Nixon's.
Okay.
Had Kennedy not had those electors, that would have been a no vote. And just to get a little more complicated, the majority is based on how many votes. So you would lose a little in terms of mathematics if you didn't have electors ready. That's the reason we did it.
Fine.
Honestly, we're not crooks. I got to tell you that.
Then why did you have fake electors in New Mexico where you guys had no pending litigation arguing that there was election fraud in that state?
I don't know why we did New Mexico, because I never thought we had a chance in New Mexico. So I don't know. I can't tell you why.
I mean, you guys didn't go to court about that state.
Why I don't know why. I don't know why we did electors in New Mexico.
Okay, last point of clarification on this.
It doesn't make sense that we did that.
But Rudy, you see that people think it does make sense if you're trying to steal the election. And so that's why, look, when you say that there's alternate electors, but Trump had a slate of electors. So you could use your slate of electors if you actually won the election. Why did you guys go to not your slate of electors, but to fake, or what you would call alternate electors?
Because some of them were the same, some were different because they were gone. They had to re-sign up.
But a lot of them wouldn't sign up because they said this is cheating and stealing the election.
I didn't do the signing up, so I can't, don't hold me to this. But I think it was about half and half. I think.
So half of your own Trump electors say, this is cheating. We're not going to do this.
But it wasn't cheating. They only would have been electors if they had been selected by the court or by the legislature, which was the more likely possibility. The Constitution of the United States, Section 2, Article 2, Section 2 says the state legislature is in charge of presidential elections. The Supreme Court has said they have plenary power. Even if they delegate their power to the Secretary of State, they can take it back anytime they want, particularly if there's a problem.
I know, but that's the problem. That's what you guys were going to use to steal the election when you didn't actually win. You didn't win the votes. So you're saying, hey, we couldn't even use our own electors because half of them wouldn't go for this scam. So then we went, but we could have gone to the states, and even though we didn't have the votes, so we could have just used our plenary power. That's exactly the problem.
Who testified for me in Detroit, an Indian woman who broke down crying, who said she was trained by the Democratic Party to take phony ballots and attach registrations to it of people that were dead, of people that had moved out.
Did you guys have her testify? And in some of the...
She testified before the legislature of Michigan. It's on record.
How about in the 61 cases you guys lost?
Hear the testimony. The judge dismissed it before we could have a preliminary hearing. And I have to tell you, I've practiced law for about 50 years. Never had a judge turn down witnesses. They didn't want to hear the witnesses because the minute those witnesses were heard,
appointed judges.
Yeah, even Trump-appointed judges didn't want to see the evidence.
The real reason, Rudy, is because they're like, one person is not wide-scale fraud that you guys claim affected 5 different states. And just putting up a rando who says, well, I didn't have a good experience. that's not real evidence. That's
Rudy, what about your legacy, Rudy? Like you cleaned up New York, Rudy.
And I fought the good fight in an election that was completely dishonest. It was a completely dishonest election carried out by a party that specializes in election fraud in New York, in Philadelphia, in Chicago.
You got elected mayor in New York.
And I had, first time I got elected, I was faced with 50,000 fraudulent votes. Second time, 20,000. I was able to overcome 20,000. I spent $1 million on voter integrity when I ran for mayor. The only reason I didn't go to court is because you can't win in New York in front of a Democratic judge.
Why?
Do you understand that the judges in New York are vassals of the Democratic leader? They're not elected. Judge Enger, he's been elected 3 times. Never had an opponent. Where does that happen?
That happens all over the country.
Yeah, it happens in red states all the time.
It happens when a party has complete control.
Like in red states and in blue states, yeah.
Well, then I'll go fix the red states. I put about an equal number of Republicans in jail as Democrats. But you're not going to tell me our court system in New York at the state Supreme Court level is honest in political cases. I was taught in law school that you can't contest a case, a political case in a New York City court, because one thing they have to promise to the district leader who appoints them is party case, they go for the party. Now, some of them promise a lot more than that, and I put some of them in jail. I mean, I remember I put most of Koch's administration in jail. Taking money for judgeships was a big part of that. The court system in New York is corrupt as hell, and it's run by the 5 district leaders. The guy running that case is a district leader. They used to be, and you guys would be part of it. There used to be a Reform Democratic movement in New York.
Yeah, that's right.
Ed Koch was part of the Reform Democratic movement.
Yeah.
The Liberal Party and the Reform Democratic movement were created to fix the corruption in the court system and in the political system in New York 70 years ago.
Right, but New York's not a swing state. So, Rudy, I appreciate you coming on.
In their local elections, they cheat, and they cheat among Democrats.
So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you being a good sport. And
good sport. I think this was a valuable thing to hear your arguments and you hear my arguments.
There you go. That's it's called America.
Gosh almighty, if we could return to that, I think we'd solve so many of these problems.
Rudy Giuliani, everybody, made the case for himself, made the case for Donald Trump. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I really admire the way he has.
Thank you. All right, guys.
I really admire.
We got more when we come back.
Okay, thank you. Night. Okay. Oh, look at him. There he is. Mesmer.
Wasn't prepared.
The fact that you have no concept of any of the stuff that's even in the criminal indictments. Do you understand how absolutely infuriating that is? That people don't even know what our ex-president was charged with. They don't even know.
Well,
you don't think that's insane?
Like I told you, there's people who follow this case 24/7.
Hold on, excuse me. No, hold on. You don't get to characterize my position as follow the case 24/7.
You got to characterize mine.
What was I incorrect about?
You were using ad hominem attacks to, discredit my viewpoints.
What point of yours do you think that I didn't discredit on a substantive basis? Just because I'm calling you names doesn't mean I'm engaged in ad hominem. I can both call you names and substantively disagree with the things that you say. Can you give me one thing you said that you feel like I haven't substantively?
Ad hominem is calling someone names and calling them stupid.
No. An ad hominem is rewatch. An ad hominem, actually, literally, an ad hominem is attacking somebody's character in spite of. Oh, was my chat broken? Sorry. I can see that someone typed in chat and then I can't. Thank you. I can't actually see it though. So, Wazy doing that. Better. What was I saying? Oh yeah. An ad hominem is making personal attacks against somebody, ignoring the substantive basis to an argument. So it's like someone who comes up and says, "Oh, I believe that 2 + 2 is 4," and you go, "All right, you fat fucking loser. No, it's not. 2 + 2 is 5. You stupid, dumb fuck bitch." Okay, well, you're not even substantially attacking me. You're just calling me names.
Stupid.
No.
But if I just go, "You're a stupid dumb fuck idiot. 2 + 2 is 5 because this.
Oh, I'm sorry, man, but an ad hominem is when you dismiss a person's argument by appealing to a personal attack. If I say you're wrong because of XYZ dip, that's not an ad hominem. That's just me calling you a name after substantively disagreeing with you. If there's a point that you feel like you made that I didn't address, feel free to tell me and I will address it.
I wasn't prepared for you being as angry as you are.
Do you understand that from my perspective, we are looking at a decent chance of the next president being a guy who, at least from my point of view, launched an insurrection against the government? That's where we're at right now, and everybody around the world is so interested in defending this traitorous scum. And then when I press them on it, whether it's you, whether it's the Constantine guy who throws his Ukrainian family under the bus to suck off Putin, whether it's Tim Pool whose beanie is wrapped so tightly around his head that he can't process more than 1 or 2 sentences. All of these people are interested in defending this guy, and nobody knows the substance of any of what he's even charged with. Do you understand how frustrating that is as an American who has a vested interest in seeing his country at least not turn into an authoritarian dictatorship? The fact that you have no
True. God, every fucking Republican dipshit loser who's like turning into cancel culture fucking warriors is so fucking cringe. Oh my god. And the fact they can't they literally their IQ is too low for them to be able to see it. It's insane. What a fucking insane statement. The Republican convention opened with a prayer for the hostages being held by Palestinians in Gaza. They're being held by Hamas, Gaza. But okay. Gosh, and the amount of fucking just blatant what the fuck is a misogyny? It was crazy. So like the Secret Service fails to protect Donald Trump properly, so a sniper fire gets laid on them. The snipers fail their job, the spotters fail their job, the people guarding the thing, the guy running the Secret Service fail their job. But no, it's the two women in front of the car's fault. Oh, this is the reason they failed. DEI hires. What? Were the fucking snipers on the roof DEI? What the fuck are you fucking talking about, you fucking moron? So, actual fucking brain damage. Anyways. I'm Audi 500 here. Good night.